What's up, everyone? Kawaii here, and welcome to episode 46 of the Weebs of the Roundtable podcast. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about our mid-season impressions on the summer 2024 anime. So joining me right here is Mad Loud of Culture and Memory NK. Not a lot of us here today, and I don't think we're going to be talking about as much as, well, at least not as much from spring season, that's for sure. So yeah, we're anticipating this to be a shorter podcast, but we'll see. On that, without further ado, let's get to it. So, the first anime on the list is the sequel to a, I guess, well-beloved, idol type show. And that is, of course, Oshinoko Season 2. And yeah, for the first three anime on the list, I'm going to be completely silent because, well, mostly silent because I'm not watching the first three. So, what do you guys think? Oh, shit.
Shikanoko season 2. Oh, go for it, Memory.
I don't really, because I wasn't too. I've talked about this in the other podcasts we've had. I wasn't the biggest fan of season 1 personally. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. There's just some, like, for me, season 1 peaked with episode 1. Like, I feel like it never reached kind of those heights again. Which I feel like a lot of people still feel like probably that first episode that premiered of season 1 was like the best part of the series or whatever, but most of the first season I was not a fan of. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't too crazy about it. This season though, I actually have been enjoying it more than season 1, especially with the content that they're getting into right now with like this the play or the stage play or whatever it is. I have really been enjoying the content we've had with this season so far, and I think it's honestly, for me, I feel like it's because obviously Aqua and like Ruby are still around, but I feel like compared to season 1, it's focusing a lot more on the other characters that I find way more interesting in the series, at least. So I think that's probably why I've been enjoying this season a bit more. But I've been pretty impressed, especially the animation in the recent episode that I just watched like the other day. Like, they went crazy with the animation, which I mean, just in general, this series looks beautiful. I would never talk negatively about it in that way, but the recent episode I was really, really impressed with. So yeah, I mean, I would give this season so far of Oshinoko a thumbs up. And pleasantly, I would say, like, surprised, because I did not really, especially coming off season 1 and how I felt about it, I was not really going into the season. I was kind of like, whatever, I'll take whatever I can get, and if it impresses me, I'll take that. And I guess that's kind of what it's done for this second season so far. So that would probably be what I would say about season 2 so far for me.
For me, though, it's just because it's just the anticipation of the stage. Because like when last season, not gonna lie though, it was fun for me because we actually get to like dive into the idol industry a little bit more, understanding how the world industry, idol industry works, which is fun, especially if you are into that sort of culture. But for me, though, I was more interested in the acting aspect. And one of the manga called Act Age was one of my favorite mangas to read before the controversy happened to the author. But let's just say when they announced the stage adaptation arc coming up next season, I was like, okay, now this is the one I'm looking forward to, because I want to see how they portray their feelings to the acting. And because stage acting and acting in front of a camera is completely different, and acting on stage is something that Aqua is new to, so I'll be very keen to see how he does it. And so far he's doing well, but I'm pretty sure he will reach the part where he has to really step out of the comfort zone, which is emotional acting, which we might see. Which you might see in next episode or maybe in 2. But for now, I'm very impressed with how they tell the story about how they adapt the source material to live action. Because wow, not gonna lie though, like the way they go about to tell us how author feels when live action, light novel, manga to anime being adapted, when you had to cut out some content. Now we kind of understand how cut content is being done, because the script writer, or should I say the director sometimes, or usually the whole responsible for it because he said, you know what, this doesn't flow well with the anime or live action. We had to cut this content out. And the author won't be happy about it. I think Akaza, the author of Oshinoko, knew that this needs to be told to the audience how them as as authors or manga creators, like writers, view when their source material is not being done well. There will be some conflicts, and we actually dive a lot into that sort of aspect in the first half of the season. So that was something
like that.
that's something that was really invested in. Even
Yeah.
though I would say that there was some moment from it was just like, oh, okay, so did this really happen behind the scenes in terms of like the board discussion over the source material and stuff like that? Well, obviously not everything is realistic, but sometimes some of them are just like give us an idea of how people handle the source material, and that is really fun to watch from the first 3 or 4 episodes. But then of course, I would say the main reason why, for me personally, that I enjoy season 2 more is because my best girl Akane getting a lot more screen time compared to Kana. Because I'm not gonna lie though, I never really liked Kana at all, man. And so Akane getting a lot of screen time this season was just make my day. To be honest, like, every time I see her on screen and just doing all this stuff, it's just so beautiful. I mean, Akane is already beautiful from last season. I was already a fan of her last season, but this season, man, just took it to the next level. And of course, long hair Akane looks better with short hair too. So I was like, yep, this is definitely my favorite season because of one girl, Akane. And she really stole the spotlight this season. And yeah, well, she's going to continue doing so. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the next episode, we're going to see her and Aqua going to be tag teaming to get Kana to step out of her depression. Although I would say that Kana this season has been taking a foot back in terms of the screen time, but she got a lot of important moments too, like from last episode where she really told her story, how she viewed the acting world, that she got roles because of skepticism. Is it the word skepticism, like favoritism, like something like that? Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I gotta say, I feel bad for Kana, but it doesn't really change my feelings at all for her at all. But yeah, definitely this season is one of my favorite in terms of us diving more into non-idol stuff, which is something that I'm more keen from Oshinoko. So yeah, definitely this season 2 really took it at like somewhere that we want to learn more about the entertainment industry, and of course the animation and stuff. You can pretty much recycle what we say about Tokokoba, but from what I can see from the stage acting lately, incredible, absolutely incredible. And the voice actors, man, like the voice actors having too much fun. Like, dude, some of the voice actors have to like do something that they are not really used to. Basically, go deep tone with some of the voice acting, like especially for Akane's voice actor for the latest episode, that she had to go absolutely deep tone for her character. Is just incredible to show that the voice range they have. So it's just like, wow, this season is really pushing the boundaries in terms of like demonstrating the greatness of Oshinoko. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing so far. But of course, this is just the first half of the season. I'm pretty sure the second half of the season we might drift away from something, or we might focus on something else. Well, we just have to see, man.
Yeah, I think like I mentioned, like, it's been more of a lot of the other characters getting focused, but you brought that up, and it's like that might be another reason why I've enjoyed this season more, is because of the because I'm not too big into the idol stuff really either, following that. So like the content they've been covering in this season, especially like dealing with the original creator of the work that they're like adapting, and the conversations that are had there, and like sometimes there's conflict that happens. I do find that really interesting. You mentioned Akane too, and it made me think of like probably one of the standout episodes or moments so far of this season. It's when she like reached that realization about, she put all the pieces together pretty much, and it clicked on like what is actually going on with Aqua and Ruby, or like what could be potentially happening. And then like the scene where Aqua's like, what if I told you that I was doing this to like kill someone, or however he put it, and she was like, I would do it too. She was I'm like, whoa, holy shit, she would kill him too. She'd be right there with him. Like, this girl is she's riding with them through thick and thin. So that's pretty respectable in a way, but also kind of crazy. But yeah, that's That was definitely a standout episode from this season. So,
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely Shinoko season 2 so far is good, and I'm just waiting for. I'm just can't wait. I want to see Aqua's emotional acting because if we remember from the opening, we actually see a scene of that. So I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that's all I can say for now. Because like I'm gonna save my overall thoughts for the final podcast next month. Well, in 2 months actually. So yep.
all right.
All right, I think we're ready to move on now. Next up on the list is Alya. Sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. Oh boy. I know two things. I'm not watching this, but I know
The
two
sister.
things from this. Yeah,
The sister.
the tight scene with Alya and the sister, who is
Yeah.
like, isn't she like on some like Wencest type of stuff, or like she's like this biggest troll, like a huge troll or something.
Okay, I need to say this first. This show is heavily carried by Yuki at this point now, because like not gonna lie, the episode 1 was solid in terms of like giving us an idea of what to expect from this anime. Where Alya, Alyssa, that's her full proper name to say, I just call her Alya. She literally just hides her feeling in Russian. There's nothing really much more to say about that. Like, Kuze-kun knows Russian because, apparently he
From his
studied
childhood,
Russian
right?
when he was
Yeah.
a child. And like, why Russian of all languages? But like he studied Russian. He basically got in, like us when we watch anime. He watches Russian drama when he was a kid, like so randomly. So and then he just watched Russian drama as a kid, and then he met this Russian girl, which turns out to be maybe Alya, maybe could be Masha. I don't know, but he was invested in learning the language like us when we watch anime. We were invested to learn Japanese. So it's kind of like that, but. It's just that we get an idea that okay, every day Alya gonna say something very cringy and very romantic behind Russian words, and then he understood it, but he had
But he knows everything. Yeah.
trying to pretend he doesn't know it, but he just had to kill himself by not saying anything. Yeah, okay, I understand that it's gonna be the main concept of the story, and we're just gonna see them doing this for the rest of the season, which can get very saturated. But not gonna lie, though, some of this episode was very saturated by that, but. Of course, here comes episode 2. Episode 2 changed everything from this anime. And when I say that, you remember when we saw Yuki in episode 1, she looks very mature and she's like very caring. Like she said that I'm Kuze-kun's childhood friend. I was like, are you sure? Like in my head, I didn't say my reaction. In my head, I was like, I don't know though, because she has the same hair color, same eye color. You're not fooling me right there. And then next episode, oh yeah, I'm their sister. Well, no shit, of course. But the thing that surprises me the most is how she went 180 with her personality. She went full mature, pretend mature, to full otaku mode. And that immediately took over the internet. You have no idea how many Yuki TikTok,
Edits.
YouTube short content I've been seeing. Oh no, Yuki posts I've been seeing for the whole week, and it's still ongoing. By the way.
Oh yeah.
So
She's everywhere.
It's everywhere. They even AI fan art now, mostly Yuki. No, Alya is being pushed to the side now. Yuki is the new star of this anime. And I was like, wow. Of course, it's because she said the one-liner. It's better when they're blood related. Oh my god, that stole the internet. That really stole the internet, man. Like, oh my god. And not just that though. The scene where she sat on top of her brother and saying all those cringy lines. I was like, and not to mention the English dub just made it even more.
Oh yeah,
cringier.
the dub. Yeah, the dub.
we
was
don't
going
talk
around,
about the dub.
Yeah.
Oh my god, when I saw the dub scene, I was like,
Wait, I
Anyway.
was like, it's so confusing to me, but also funny that like in the Japanese dub, she's like good morning. She's like good. She actually says it. Yeah. But then in the English dub, the English VA says Ohio Oni-chan. I'm like, what? How does that make any sense? But in the Japanese dub, you hear the Japanese VA go like good morning. Like what?
So it's basically
that was
the English dub. I think to be honest, the whole purpose of this anime is just just fun slice of life romance, cringy stuff happening. But the biggest surprise for me is that it's just that the mentality of everyone from shifted from Alya to Yuki immediately, because we all can relate to Yuki, and we all can relate to how she is being very weep like, very very Deadpool like in terms of telling jokes and stuff like that. Well, when she's like not in her mature mode, of course. So yeah, you can say that's why Yuki literally stole the show, and this is the reason why I say Yuki single-handedly carried this anime now. Not Alya. Alya is like fine, she's beautiful, she's cute, but people seen a lot of those sort of tsundere sort of personalities before. People can get very fed up by those tsundere personality. People were just like waiting for the moment where Alya, accepted the fact that Kuze-kun, one, either she never really admitted it, but I'm hoping that she finally admits that she liked Kuze-kun, because that's starting to get really annoying. How she say, Kuze-kun's my friend. I don't see her as a love interest, despite all the stuff you said in behind your Russian words. So, and then two, I'm hoping that Kuze-kun finally tell her that I can understand Russian, and they can bond better from that, because like this whole shenanigans of them. Kuze-kun not understanding Russian, pretend not understanding Russian, and Alya just continuously batter him with a lot of Russian words which he understands. It's just like I said, it's gonna get very saturated very soon. People are gonna find this joke gonna be very boring, very not something that they want to like see more of now. They want to see development between those two, and that could happen in the next episode where they had to go against this girl Sayaka that came and challenged them to a presidential speech. So you can say I'm looking forward to that in the next episode, because that could really maybe shift the relationship between Alya and Kuze-kun, because you can see that Alya started to care for Kuze-kun a little bit more after he told her that he's willing to support her for her role to be a president. But of course, next episode really gonna solidify the relationship involved. I'm hoping that's the case, but yeah, definitely you can say the first episode people got the idea what the show's about, but then the Yuki episode really changed our mentality, how we view the character in this episode. And every time Yuki, trust me, every time Yuki appears on the screen, it's like when you see your favorite actor came on screen and do have a screen time. It's that sort of like vibe to it. So yeah, basically Yuki carried this anime. Every episode is fun, engaging. We're kind of repetitive in terms of how we tell the story, show the plot of the story. But that's all I can pretty much say for now. Maybe the second half of the season we might see something interesting developing for Alya and Kuze. But so far, it's just like very repetitive in terms of how they repeated some of the gags. But Yuki, again, like I said, pretty much kept more people watching, I would say.
Yeah, I like Alya, like you said too. Like I like her, but since Yuki she's kind of like stole the show in a way, honestly. And I see like there would have to be like, which I'm assuming will happen. You would think at least there'll be like considerable development between Alya and Kuze, like in the future. Like I would have to see that. And then like Yuki kind of takes a back seat or something like that. Maybe she gets less screen time or whatever, shows up less. That would have to be what would happen. But like right now, it's like all Yuki. I feel like for a lot of people, me included. Obviously, Mad Lad said it. But yeah, this show has been a lot of fun for me. I feel like every episode I have a good time with. I do agree that I get it's the whole point of the show, like how she's hiding how she feels in Russian, but even though the main character can like understand her and everything, but I'm like wondering like how long are they gonna keep going on with this, and like how
it's gonna get boring.
Yeah, like when he does find out, or when she finds out that he knows, like I'm wondering how that specific interaction is gonna, like how is the cat gonna come out of the bag essentially.
Next thing you know, the voice actor for the male character has to speak Russian for the rest of for the whole episode.
Because I feel like that episode would be like obviously a big episode, so I'm like wondering how that will happen. Is it gonna be? Does another character maybe have an impact on it or something, or is it just gonna be a scene with both of them, or however it's gonna play out? I don't know, but that's gonna be a big moment, a big episode. But I don't know. I hope they really don't try to like what like a lot of these rom-coms do, you know, they'll spread it out for however long, like hundreds of chapters it feels like and shit. So, which I know this is I think this is based off a novel, light novel, but
Yeah, it's a light novel.
but yeah, this one I've really been enjoying. This is probably in terms of enjoyment factor, like this is I feel like on a week to week basis, this has been one that I've been probably like it's towards the top in terms of ones that I enjoy the most. So, yeah, Doga Kobo, they're kind of killing it with this one, and then with Oshi no Ko this season. So, gotta give them props, especially like animation, just all around like art, backgrounds, music, even like all that kind of stuff. Like both are really good. You know they're probably going to sell a lot with this series, if it's not already. I mean, probably the novel's already selling a decent amount, but like the stuff the material that I've even been seeing with Alya and some of like the promotional visuals and you know things that are coming out, like I'm like, okay, this series is probably going to sell like hotcakes. And now like the whole Yuki, her blowing up, like that's just another thing that's going to help it. So. On a wider scale.
The show is popular when Roshidera is literally this anime was trending above Oshinoko for the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say this. And, well, to be honest, though, lately it hasn't been trending a lot because, like I said, the story is starting to get a little bit more repetitive. But who knows? Maybe soon we might see it trending again over Shinoko because Shinoko bounced back really well with the acting stage thing. So. Either way, though, I'm looking forward to the next episode because I'm pretty sure next episode is where we really see how really the relationship between Alya and Kuzuku will develop into. So, I'll save that for I'll save my final thought for the final podcast because usually the final episode of the season will either make or break us. Either can contribute to a season 2 or just contributing to us buying the light novel. So we just have to see how it goes. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah, but so far so good for this one. Yeah.
Alrighty then. Next up on the list is Tower of God Season 2. Now, Madlad, I know you're doing live reactions for this one, so
it was a funny thing last night. Crunchyroll messed up the subtitle.
Oh, they messed up the subs. They put the subs for the next episode at the beginning.
Exactly.
What?
I was like, Emily. Who's Emily?
Yeah.
That is insane.
And some people are like making jokes like unless this dude's like a trans now or something they
Bro,
yeah,
they
messed up. How do you mess up that bad?
I was like, what the fuck is going on with the subtitle? Oh my god, what is going on with the subtitle? And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make you just short for it instead. But yeah, I'm just Tower of God, I had to be very careful here because I got attacked by some of the fans for one of the episodes. But because like you know some of the newer cast, Wang Na, whoever his fucking name is again, that blondie guy, I don't even like him at all, man. Like his introduction to the story was just so random. To be honest, I don't really understood what he really contributed to the story other than being very contradicting with some of his actions and being very very loud with some of his stuff he does, and just like, oh my god, he's not my cup of tea at all, man. Like, of course there'll be more to come from him later in the season, but so far I am not impressed whatsoever by some of the stuff he does in any of the episodes. And well, other than this new chick Young, that's her name. Yeah, I think that's the only reason. That's the only saving grace for me for the season, because she's literally black hair beauty for me, and I really sim black hair girls. But it's just like some of the stuff happening in the season. Well, of course, Bam is still like trying to recover from his trauma of being pushed down by Rachel. And speaking of Rachel, we saw her back in episode 5, I think, and then we saw Kun Guerrero, and it's good to know that my boy Kun is gonna backstab Rachel when the right time comes, and he understood that she was the one responsible for supposedly killing his friend, which she did. So yeah, let's just say I'm looking forward to the day when Rachel really get backstabbed by Kun. But for now, though, it's just like it's just don't know. It's just like slow from what I can see from the story so far. Like, of course, you can say they're trying to build up a newer story for newer cast, for newer for Bam to have his redemption arc or something, and some random ass games which I have no idea why they even bother with it. So far, I'm not really impressed by Tower of God season 2. I'm still watching it, of course. I'm still reacting to it, but I'm just waiting for this moment of the season where it really kicks in. But which I'm hoping it does, though. But I'm hoping it's not the final episode. But for now, though, I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is. I'm just gonna watch it and just see what happened next. And well, the latest episode, Bam, really shows something which I'm not gonna say too much about. But yeah, let's just say I'm looking forward to the second half of the season, which I'm hoping it gets better from here.
Yeah. For me, I would say I kind of agree. Like as it stands right now, some of the new cast, I'm not too crazy on. Like especially when you compare some of these new casts to like Kun and to like Shibisu and people like that. And obviously a lot of the other characters we had like from like Rock and we had and Dorsey, characters like that in season 1. Like comparing some of this new cast to them, I'm not as big on them, but maybe we need to give it some more time. I'm not really sure. Obviously, like in the big scope, it seems like Wang Nang is obviously pretty freaking important for like the future of the series. And I think even was that in the most recent episode or the episode before they referred to him as the Prince of the Red Light District or something along those lines. So
yeah, I think they mentioned it, but I just don't care. So
yeah. I did like I have like some of the scenes we've had with him is like when he found out like why Bam is even going through all of this, like why he has to keep fighting or keep climbing, and it's because he's pretty much like his friends will die, the people closest to him will die if he doesn't. Like there's no failure is not an option for him essentially, and for him, him realizing that, he's like, oh, that just makes me want to follow him even more. Like Wang Nan just does have that kind of like ride or die type energy that if you're his friend, if you're close with him, and he trusts you, you trust one another, like he's a ride or die, he's gonna be there for you regardless. That's the kind of vibe I get from him. And the introduction of in the newest, well, we saw him in the previous episode, but and they did show him in the OP, but Urek Mazino, the dude with the tattoo or like the tat on his back with his name, that dude is something. That dude is something for sure. So and then you have like the Karaka dude and a lot of characters that obviously probably in the future are gonna have way more impact as we go along. But I have been watching. Usually, when I watch Tower of God, I watch it with like people who have read the webtoon. So they sometimes fill me in on things that they left out or lines that they might have changed and things of that nature. So that has kind of helped me. And I wasn't even really crazy about Tower of God season 1, and I wouldn't really say I'm as even with this season, I'm not as crazy about it, but I feel like having people to like watch it with and get more context, especially on things from the webtoon, has kind of helped me a bit, especially like maybe getting more into this season. So, but yeah, it's still not that crazy about it. But I would say for the most part, I've been enjoying it. And man, that one episode, I forget even what the kid's name was, but where they literally they did not hold back on killing that the one kid. I was like, whoa, that was I don't even remember the kid's name, but they just killed him off. I was like, geez. So yeah, that's something Tower of God is not scared to do. And so obviously we saw a lot of backstabbing, and there's going to be more of that and things of that nature. Seeing Kun back, seeing Shibisu, seeing Rachel, because I was wondering, I was like, okay, when are they going to pop back up again? When are we going to see them? The episode we did see them, we saw kind of what the situation is. And Rachel thinks, she's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, I got him right where I wanted, but Kun's like, nah, like, I know what I'm doing. I have a plan, and the others are all in on it too. So we just gotta hope the people around Kun or someone doesn't get charmed by Rachel, if you'd want to put it that way. So,
Well,
yeah,
just have to see. We just have to see.
This season though, for me, nothing crazy, but I would say I still have been enjoying it. Probably about the same as I did season 1. It's nothing really to write home about, and probably a lot of people still would say to like read the webtoon or whatever. But
you can't really leave it to them 4 years to have a new season, though. 4 years.
Yeah.
I still remember reacting to it, but that's like back in 2020. Holy shit!
I do too, and I regret it.
Like, you know how much anime like we've probably consumed in 4 years. It's like if you still remember, if you still have remembered things from season 1, like hats off to you, because like I did not do a rewatch for this season.
I only did a recap. I watched a recap video on YouTube, and that's about it.
Yeah, I didn't even do that. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember much from season. Like, I remember some of the characters, obviously, but like it's in terms of some like specific events and probably things I should remember that they mentioned in season 1. If they get brought up or they have been brought up, it's just like, I mean, man, it's been 4 years. So, me, I do plan to like. I think I actually, I got the webtoon right here.
Oh shit, you bought it?
So, yeah, I got like the first 3 books or the first 3 volumes. So I do plan to read it at some point. So.
Where do you keep all your books though? Like, do you how much?
I have a shelf like out in my.
No, how big is your shelf?
Oh, it's pretty big.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair play for you then. Because I read all my mangas. I read all my stuff online now. I don't want to buy books, and because
it is kind of it can be kind of a hassle, especially if you keep picking up more stuff, and it's like, oh, you got to get another bookshelf, or you got to move some of the stuff you have on the bookshelf.
I think the thing is though, I buy light novels now. I rather read light novels read on a book than reading online. So, but yeah, anyway, so. Yeah, Tower of God, looking forward to the second half of the season and see whether or not it improves on the story or it just gets it's continued to be slow until the final episode and the final 2 episodes to get interesting. So, yeah, I just want to see what it got. So, let's move on.
All right, next up on the list is the brain rot shit post anime of the season, Shikanoko Nokonoko Koshitantan.
Well, I dropped it.
Oh my god, he got the antlers. He got the antlers.
Yeah, I bought this, just bought this for my reaction, to be honest, and I might give this away after the season ends. But
all right.
But anyways, Shikanoko no Koshitantan. I actually perfected it. Well, let's just say the first 3 episodes was funny, not like very engaging in terms of the stuff they do, especially with some of the gaggy stuff that can get on TikTok easily. But not gonna lie though, after episode 4, I don't see a lot of Shikanoko no Koshitantan on TikTok anymore. People just got bored of it. People just got bored of the story, and I can totally understand that. I can understand. And now what Memory said back in episode 2. I can relate to what he had to say now, because not gonna lie though, I haven't not been laughing a lot lately for some of the episodes. Like I think they put all the energy for the first 4 episodes just to get people engaged with it and keep watching it to the end of the season. But after that, they just say, oh, okay, we can just relax now, throw in some random shit, make the story makes even no sense to it, and people are just gonna continue to watch it because the first 4 episodes pretty much get their mindset invested into this anime already. People are not gonna drop this anime now. So if people pass 4 episodes of this anime, they're not dropping it. If people drop the anime after episode 2, it's not for them. So it's definitely says a lot in terms of how the people interpret this anime for the season. But of course, I would say for myself that I still enjoy some stuff from it, but it's just that some of the comedic scenarios they've been doing for the past 2 episodes was just felt forced, very forced. The voice actor tried their best to be, trying to give the character the sort of like personality that they demonstrated in the first 4 episodes, but not gonna lie though, I felt like they're trying a little bit too hard, and they're just trying, and they're not really doing that well with it anymore. It's just like the thing is, here's the thing about the story for Shikanoko Nokonoko Koshitantan. It's just that so, it's like in the episode, there's like subtitles for the individual point of story. It's basically that now. So in one episode they have like 3 plot point of the story that does not make sense to another. Like they just went from this to this random scene and then to another scene like that. It's just like so weirdly. I don't know.
Oh, it's like how they do the 4. It's how they do like the 4 coma like.
Yeah, basically that one. That's that one. Yeah. So I'm not really a fan of that sort of way of going with the each episode. But again, though, you're watching it for the gaggy stuff, some of the crazy gear stuff, which it starts to get a little bit annoying now, to be honest. So again, though, like I said, I'm still reacting to it because I made a commitment to it at the start of the season, but it just felt it's just that the story doesn't really grab me as much as the first 4 episodes now, and it's very evident when you see a lot of people actually talking about it on Twitter, TikTok, and on YouTube and on Facebook. So people still talk about it, but it's just like a small mention to some of the stuff happening and just disappeared. So yeah, you can say this anime did its job with the marketing. They did a fantastic job with the marketing, but that's just it. That's just how much the anime can really build on now. The hype of the marketing, the hype of the first 4 episodes, and then after that it's just boom. So people they just now just say, okay, you guys are now invested. Now just enjoy the anime for what you have in offer from you. If you want to blame the plot of the story, blame the author because we are adapting the source material from the manga. So that's about it. So yeah, other than that though, I mean, deers are now popular. Nara Park in Japan, which is the deer capital of Japan, is now getting popular with tourists, and it's just doing a good job with the marketing for deers now, and people now want to see deers now. People want to go to places to see deers now to make TikTok content out of it. So yeah, I have nothing more to say other than the comedy is starting to get really repetitively annoying. Memory, go for it.
Yeah. I like the beginning of it. I get it, the memes and especially like the OP, even before the series came out, because they revealed or like the OP leaked or they revealed or whatever had happened before the show even came out. So people were already going kind of crazy about the OP before the show even came out. And I'm not really surprised, especially seeing that OP, like why and this even some of the content, why off the rip it kind of like shot up, like it just took off essentially, and people were making memes out of it, and it felt like everybody was talking about it. I was seeing it everywhere on the timeline. And like Mad Lad mentioned, not as much really. I feel like I barely see it now. For me, I don't know. I really could not get into this at all. The comedy is just not for me. Comedy is just one of those things, right? There's, one of my favorite comedies is like Grand Blue, and there's probably people that watch that and they're like, okay, this shit's not funny. I find it personally, I find it hilarious. A lot of the
people
shit.
don't find it funny. They don't understand the maturity jokes. They don't understand the maturity jokes. So
that's the thing. Like, I feel like for me, I don't know. I feel like comedy's just a thing. It's subjective, right? So for me personally, I'm watching this. I think I watched 3-4 episodes, something like that. And it just wasn't hitting for me. And I feel like a series like this, if the comedy's not hitting for you, if the jokes aren't landing, then what are you really like? What are you watching for? I know there's like there's the Elden Ring reference and there's other references and stuff like that are cool. But personally, I couldn't just watch it for that. I don't even know if they're still doing like references to other things and whatnot in the episodes. But yeah, I just couldn't really get into this one all like that. So I dropped it after like episode 3, I believe.
Oof.
Which Yeah, so you know it's Wit Studio, and I was like, oh man, I kind of like I want to push through, but the content is really for me where I guess I can't get into it all too much. So
Which studio sacrificed Attack on Titan for this?
They know where the priorities lie.
Well, either way though, I'm taking down this horror. It's starting to get annoying in my head now. So, like I said, the second half of the season is where I really truly judge the anime. The first half of the season is always, from my opinion, is how well they grab the audience and get them invested into the anime. And then the second half of the season is where it really delivers to the real plot of the story. That's how I can really tell how things are going with how anime. I've been watching anime for a long time, and second half of the season is always the more exciting part of the season. So yeah that's what I can say now.
Yeah.
So yeah, next one.
This is the anime where I actually can start talking about stuff. So yeah, Shikanoko, Nokonoko Koshitantan. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see where you guys are coming from. I mean, this is the type of show where like I think you should immediately know what you're getting into. Like, you should immediately know what kind of anime like this is, as from the like all the memes and all that, just from the very nature of the show. And yeah, like you guys, like I did laugh at quite a few moments, but of course there's also a lot of moments that just doesn't hit for me. You know, comedy is subjective after all, and I'm no exception. And yeah, I think really the main reason why it hasn't picked up a lot of steam recently is because it's just lately the show just hasn't been as crazy after episode 1. Like, I think really episode 1.
Well, to be honest, episode 3, I would say after episode 3.
Okay, yeah, I'd say like the first 3 episodes. Like, I think after the first 3 episodes, it kind of like people like I think for the first 3 episodes really set the expectations for a lot of people as to like the type of like wackiness.
It's like a business cycle. They go up and they saturate it or plateaued.
Yeah,
I think it's now at the plateau stage. So
I think so. Yeah. I think one thing I will say is that one thing that does surprise me about this anime is how coherent it is. Like, there's actually like a kind of like a something resembling a story in this anime. Like, I thought it was gonna be like Pop Team Epic, where it's just gonna be like a compilation of miscellaneous gags with no like continuity or anything like that. But that's not really what we see here. I mean, because in the first episode we saw like Koshi and Nokotan, they established a Deer Club, and then as the series progresses, we see them, meet more characters, more stuff happens. The Deer Club progresses in multiple ways. So yeah, I think on one hand I am surprised. Like, I think that is surprising. One of the most surprising things about this show. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, like would this work better? Would this anime work better if it were a compilation of just gags and bits with no continuity? Because I think that might get more people talking, but at the same time, I think they'll also just turn more people off. So yeah, I'm not too sure about the story structure, but it is what it is. But yeah. On that, oh yeah, and I'm also surprised to learn that the VA for Koshitan is the same VA that did the voice banks for Hatsune Miku, so that's pretty interesting, at least in my opinion. But
you know what's a saving grace for this anime if they actually throwing some fourth wall and giving Koshi, the voice actor from Miku, at least give her a moment where she become Miku.
Oh yeah, that's true.
If they do that, then I'll get invested into this anime again. But I don't think they would do that because they need license from Vocaloid. So yeah.
But yeah, other than that, Shikanoko no Koshitantan, like, it's not. Like, yeah, despite a lot of the humor not like hitting for me, I wouldn't say I hate this show or dislike this show. For me, it's like, it's just something that I could just watch every week and just not expect much from it. You know, I could just turn it on and just expect like silly, ridiculous gags from Nokotan and other characters. So, like, I would just say I'm enjoying it enough for like the humor and all that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Shikanoko. I think we can move on. Next up on the list is Wistoria. And I heard this is like, what, from the same author as Danmachi or something like that?
Yeah.
The author Damachi write the story, but he's not the artist of the story. But yeah, so Wistoria. I did not say this in my reaction, and I might as well say it here because I don't think there will be a lot of people watching anyways. But I just happened to get sneak peek of what to expect from the later in the story, and I am actually more excited for what stuff is going on later in the story than what we're gonna have for the next 8 episodes. Not gonna lie though, what we saw from this anime is pretty solid already. It's literally Black Clover but high school setting. So because our boy Will is aka Bell in disguise, really good at fighting, but can't use magic, and he can use the sword really well, like Asta, and they do dungeon stuff like Danmachi, and not just that, a lot of girls taking a liking to him, like Danmachi, like for Bell and Danmachi. You can already see that this is the author. The author of Danmachi is trying to add in some element of that, but also adding some element of Black Clover to it. And oh yeah, not to mention that he can't even use magic. The fact he can get bullied and then he's gonna show off his ability and then impresses everyone and say telling that they're wrong. He has talent after doesn't really need magic. Blah blah blah. Oh, I've seen this done before in Black Clover, but it's just definitely this anime is just like. Yeah, it's just fun to watch. I enjoy reacting to it, of course. I enjoy seeing Will showing off. I enjoy seeing all the girls eventually fall for him and blah, blah, blah. But it's just like I'm just waiting for that stuff to happen later in the story, which I really don't think we'll get that far unless they announce it to be 24 episodes, which I'm hoping it should be 24 episodes, because if we get to that part of the story, it really changes the momentum of the story for Wistoria. But so far, I only saw manga readers talking about his anime, not anime only, manga readers talking about his anime. And that really says a lot in terms of how anime onlys are not really digging into the story more compared to how manga readers are trying to hype it up. So for me though, I am just enjoying it while watching because, like I said, it's from the author of Danmachi, and I enjoy this sort of generic plotline. But it's just like I'm just waiting for that very moment in the story, like maybe in episode 12, episode 13, 14, or wherever we can get something interesting happening. But for now, though, I'm not going to say too much about it because so far, the only thing that is saving grace for this anime, it's the animation. Animation by Studio Dean. I think Studio Dean. Yeah, Studio Dean is doing a fantastic job with some of the fight scenes. And the OST used in some of the moments too is just so well directed. So I just like, wow, this anime really delivering in terms of animation wise. Even manga readers find this anime is so good that they rather watch the anime than read the manga. So I'm saying this for now. The animation is the one that is saving the story so far. But trust me, I got a glimpse of what to expect from later in the story, and I'm more excited for that than what we're having so far. So yeah, that's all I can say for now.
It's surprising to me that Studio Dean, like hearing Studio Dean having great animation, because like they're the same studio responsible for like Seven Deadly Sins and the failed Fate adaptation.
I don't think it's Dean. I could be wrong though.
Oh, is it not Dean?
It's it's Bandai Namco Pictures and Actus.
Ah, okay.
But you brought up Black Clover, and they saw this series, and they said, "Let's recruit the director of Black Clover for this series," and they brought him in directing this.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's known for the director is known for like action heavy, like he was the action director of Chainsaw Man. So,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
So that certainly helps when you have someone like that. And it really shows because that, like Mad Lad said, that's been one of the standout things of this series so far. Which, I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, nothing we haven't saw before. It's pretty generic. It's like Black Clover. It's like this. It's like that. Fair enough. But also, I have heard from people that have read the manga as well that it does get very interesting later on. So I mean, I've been enjoying this series enough to where I want, if it, we don't even know how long it's going to be. I don't think they have confirmed it, but even if it is just one core, it would be one maybe where, especially based on what I've heard, I would consider, going to the manga and reading it if we don't get any announcement or anything like that. But yeah, the similarities are there with like Black Clover and Don Machi. It's like kind of a mix of, people will probably say Mashal too, even.
Mashal, I forgot about that.
A mix of those. A mix of those kind of in one. Now, it doesn't have that like absurd kind of humor that Mashal does, but in terms of especially like the main character, not being able to use magic, and he's strong. And obviously he had to work for it too. Like he put in the work to become as strong as he is. But I think for me, the thing that would take this series to the next level for me, I feel like in terms of the characters, they're like, I don't know. They have shown some characters like very briefly that I would assume in the future are going to be way more important. So maybe it'll come at that point. But from the cast that we have so far, I'm not really like too invested in them, honestly.
Yep. I can totally understand you, man.
Yeah. So that's something I feel like if I could get invested in these characters more, depending on how certain events happen or how it goes in the future, I feel like that would bring the series to the next level for me, because I feel like it has a lot of the things that you kind of want to see in a series that you could enjoy in a series. But that's the one thing for me that's kind of like holding it back a little right now. But I still have been enjoying this quite a lot. So
as long as you enjoy
I don't know if I'd say, I don't know if I'd say if it's really like a surprise, because you have like the author of Don Machi, you knew like the director on this project before going into it. The trailers were really impressive, I would say. So like I wouldn't really say I'm surprised I'm enjoying this as much as I have been, but maybe for others it's that way, that they're enjoying this. And like I said, in terms of the story so far, it's nothing to really write home about. It's nothing like super crazy, but I feel like the animation helps, the production helps, certainly on that aspect. And like we mentioned, based on what manga readers have said, it does get pretty interesting. Certain things happen in the future, so curious about that. But yeah, I've been enjoying this one as well, I would say. Pretty impressed, honestly.
Oh, that's what matters. That's what matters, man.
Alrighty then. Any final thoughts, or are we ready to move on?
Move on.
All right. Next up on the list is Suicide Squad Isekai. I can't remember the last time we've seen anime that ended at the halfway point of a season. So yeah, that's definitely surprising in that regard. So
they know that cliffhanger ending was just so forced, to be honest. I don't know why. I just felt like oh yeah, they saved the day, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, plot twist, Joker's the one behind all of this. Wow. Okay. Well, are we gonna get season 2, or are we just gonna end it there? I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know why, but Isekai, Suicide Squad Isekai, whose idea is this? Is this Warner Bros saying that, you know what, we need more Suicide Squad content? Oh, what's popular nowadays? Oh, anime. Oh yeah, we can tap into the anime industry. We can just try to make us get invested with Suicide Squad a bit more, because we might get a third movie for it. What's the best way to promote this? Suicide Squad. Well, why not have an anime? And then go to what's the popular category that many anime fans enjoy? Isekai. And so here we have it. Suicide Squad Isekai. And not gonna lie, the first two episodes was wacky, I would say. But I was like, but for me, when I was watching this anime, I was like, so how on earth are you supposed to blend Isekai and Suicide Squad? Remember, with this, comic fans already know what Harley Quinn, Shark Boy, what was Mudman, who else? The Patriot guy, what's his name again? Peacekeeper, yeah. Well, we already have an idea what he's like already from the Suicide Squad movie. How will you stay true to the characters? And not gonna lie though, they made them look more anime friendly compared to how we really see them in the real life. To be honest, like some of the stuff they do is just like, huh. Okay, I mean, yes, they kill people, they kill monsters and stuff, but it's just I don't know. I felt like there's not enough aggression there. I that could be me though, but I just don't really feel that invested into some of the stuff they do. Like some of the stuff that they do in the movie was more aggressive in terms of how they do things, but in this one it felt like a little bit toned down in some ways. But the final 3 episodes of the season really saved it in terms of the animation and some of the fight scenes. But that's all. That doesn't really impresses me as much for this anime. I still watch it because I want to see how it goes, but I'm not fully that invested in terms of how they try to blend DC and anime together. So I'm that's just me. I mean, Kawaii, I can see you have a contradicting opinion, so go for it.
All right, here's what I'll say. Is this the best isekai anime out there? Absolutely not. Like I admit, like it has its flaws. And is putting Suicide Squad characters in an isekai world a weird choice? Yeah, maybe it is. But in my opinion, I still enjoy this. I enjoy this anime far more than I did with probably most other isekai shows. And that's mainly because, like, first of all, the action. The action, it's just so fun. Like, it's just so fun seeing our main characters, the Suicide Squad, just kicking ass and beating up enemies in an isekai world. And the animation, like, okay, yes, either the animation isn't the best. There are some points, especially during episode 5, where it just looks off. But I think for what we got, I think the studio did do a pretty good job. And like, yeah, there's just so much wackiness going on with the action and like the stuff that happens in the show, especially during the last 2 episodes where we got freaking magical transformations with the Suicide Squad characters. I never thought in a million fucking years that we would see Magical Girl Harley Quinn or Clayface as Magical Michael Jackson. Like, that is just so... It's so crazy. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the show just so crazy, but I just love it. Also, the banter between the characters is just so... It's so funny. I think the Suicide Squad just have really good chemistry. And overall, I love how this series, like, they stay true to, like, the origins of the characters and, like, what they're all about. But at the same time, they're like putting their own spin on the characters, and like I like how they're just not like a carbon copy of, like what we saw from them for like previous iterations of the characters. So yeah, I really enjoyed those aspects about the show. But as for the cons, I will agree. Like, a common criticism I've seen with the show is that the story is mediocre, and the story is boring. It's mid, and to an extent, I will agree. The story is just nothing to write home about. Like, they gotta help out the kingdom and save them from. They help them during the a war and all of that, and of course they gotta do stuff for Amanda Waller, but we're also gonna get their heads blown up. I mean, yeah, it's really nothing to write home about, and especially like the other characters, like the isekai characters that we see, they're definitely nothing to write home about. Especially the princess, who I think is just pretty much. I still think she's pretty much useless. It's like, yes, did see her do stuff in the last 2 episodes, but still, I just don't like her. Like, even if she's voiced by the wonderful Reina Ueda. Also, I mentioned the animation. I will say though, like I do gotta give them props that we actually got non-CGI dragons. Now I know that's a weird thing to praise, but with modern anime, with seasonal anime that we've seen these days, like I feel like hand-drawn giant monsters are becoming kind of a rarity. So I will give them props for giving us like non-CGI dragons at least. But yeah, other than that, also I will say like, yeah, it's not the best anime. It's not the best isekai that we've seen, but I do kind of feel like that some of the hate that this show gets, it's kind of overblown. And I do think part of the reason for that is because it is written by the ReZero author, I think. So I think a lot of people have like high expectations because of that. So yeah, it kind of just like, as someone who really does enjoy this show unironically, it kind of hurts to see like so many people. I feel like so many people are treating this like it's the worst thing in the world, when in reality it really isn't. Like, it's not trash by any means. Like, it's not a masterpiece either, but I would definitely wouldn't say it's trash either. So yeah, on that Suicide Squad Isekai, it's a really fun time. Like, if you go into this like expecting a fun Isekai show and like not without like a really complex story or anything, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And yes, you can criticize the story and all that, but it's like, okay, what? Like, you could say that for most isekai shows, right? Like, not a lot. I don't think there's a lot of isekai shows like with a deep story or like complex, well-written characters. Like, you could say that for most isekai shows. So,
I mean, even the original Suicide Squad is probably not. I've only watched the first Suicide Squad. Isn't there a second Suicide Squad movie?
Yes. Yeah, it's
okay.
James
Yeah,
Gunn.
I've only watched the first,
Same.
and I feel like even watching that, it wasn't like anything complex.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's a lot of like comic book, like, adaptations or whatever. I feel like at least for the ones I've saw, they're not really something like super complex and like narratively. So like if you were expecting that with this, I don't know.
Yeah, you're in for a rough time. So yeah, I think if I were to give Suicide Squad a ranking, I'd give this a good 7 out of 10. Or in my current AniList ranking, that would be a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
So yeah, remember, are you watching this?
I didn't watch it. Yeah, I did not watch it.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then I think we are ready to move on to our next anime, which is Days with My Stepsister. Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys have the floor with this one.
Okay, I might as well bring it out.
Oh.
Yes, I'm a light novel reader.
Yes, now you made it known. Okay, Mala, I'm gonna start this off by saying, Mala, I'm gonna need you to understand. I'm gonna need you to explain the appeal of this series for me, because I've caught to this, and I personally, it's not doing much for me. But yeah, I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Not gonna lie, though, I don't blame you for not digging into the story, because for me though, when I first read the first volume, like I think it was last year, it was a really slow start, and that is basically
It is kind of a slow burn.
It's a slow build burn, whatever you call it. But that's the whole point of the story, because I the author of this story, Ghost Mikawa, I can't remember his name, Ghost. he's been commenting a lot about the story on his Twitter page, and funny enough, he actually liked some of my tweets too. So I was like, oh, okay, thanks, author. I mean, he literally, I was like, funny some. I was like literally retweeting or just talking about some of the episode moments, and then he just out of nowhere just liked my tweet. I was like, is he for real? Is this the actual author? No way, it's the actual author. So he actually engaged with some of the people talking about it on Twitter. So that makes me very happy to know that the author is very passionate about people liking his work and stuff. So that's why I tweet about this stuff every day. But let's just say the whole point of this anime is not trying to tell you that this is a domestic nakanojo or emo sort of like story. It's or arrow manga, if you're going to go that far. It's a story about how you adapt your new life with your stepsister. Yes, 2 years ago we got something similar where the ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend became siblings. We know how it goes in the end. But this one though, they don't know each other. They just out of nowhere just become family. And Saki and our boy, what's his name? Asamura. He just they just trying their best to act normal. And even at the first episode, Saki said, "You have your own personal space. I have my own personal space. Don't expect much from both of us. We're just gonna continue to live our life out." And that is what I like, because like not like some cliche moment where they just jump in and just say like, "Oh my God, we are step sibling. You should not do this and that and be an ecchi brother," and stuff like that. We've seen that done before in a lot of like those rom-com stuff. But this one though, it's more mature.
Yeah,
it's more mature how they handle the situation.
It's more realistic. It's more like grounded, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. And the thing I like about it is just that they tackle day-to-day stuff. They actually go by day-to-day. They don't just fast forward to a week and stuff. Day-to-day, you see how Asamura trying to like trying to adapt to his new life with Saki and his family. I mean he tried his best to act normal, but he also tried to like make her feel welcome, comfortable. And Saki, here's the thing about Saki, man, she is a fresh of breath air. Like every time we see a stepsister, they tend to overreact. Saki's not that girl. She just stay composed, mature about it. She just act normal. She just try her best to be a good family member, and that is what she's doing. And that is why I am sold by her. But of course, when it comes to the diary, it speaks volume how she really feels inside of her heart. And that is what I say, the diary part is always the best part, because it really brings out this sort of side of Saki that we don't see her portray in the inner part. Yeah, the inner thoughts. Like when they adapted the diary part, I was so surprised, because usually the diary part can be skipped, but they decided to adapt it in a very theoretical, dramatic way possible, where it gives the diary part more energy, more of this sort of like story to it. And I really like it, because it really showed that the Saki really do feel something in her heart when she's being with Asamura. And the fact that Asamura, remember this, they're same age. Asamura is only older by her by like a couple of weeks only, and they're at their 16 year of being a teenager. So you can definitely tell that they're at the maturity age where things can get very horny and stuff. But of course, you can say the fact that we all expect them to like get very clingy, very ecchi. Well, there were moments, but I'm very glad that Saki was able to handle that properly. Episode 3 is where people start to raise eyebrows and seeing how Saki trying to sell her body for Asamura, but the way how Asamura dealt with that situation was, to be honest though, I can't understand why Saki wanted to do that. But again, though, even though when I read that part in the light novel, I was like, is this really, really necessary? Saki just tells Asamura that you want to sell her body so that you can give her money and stuff like that. I mean, Fair play for her though. She's stuck by her principles. She wants to be independent. She wants to earn money. She wants to live by herself. She to try her best not to be burdened to her mother. Fair play though, but that's taking a little bit too far, and that is what the author said about her character in that specific moment. Is that when a girl gets desperate, they really get desperate. And that is literally how girls think. Usually, when they're trying to do something, they want to do it, but they can't achieve that yet. They take do something outside their comfort zone, and this is what Saki did. That's what the author commented on. I think that's what I read. That's what I read between the lines. But it's just incredible to see the fact that how Asumura and Saki try their best not to be very cliche in terms of how we saw, how step siblings interact with each other. Domestic Nakanajo took that to extreme height for that. But this one though really toned it down, and that is what I give full credit for the author. The author said it's a slow. The author literally said it. It's a slow burning like daily life of a story of a step siblings. It's not something you see from straight out of Orimo or Domestic Kanjo. This one though, I want to portray the feelings more. I want to show how their feelings develop for each other as time progresses. However, when I read volume 3, I'm still halfway through. I'm already starting to feel something more than step siblings now, and you know where I'm going with this already.
I mean, even from the diary thing.
Yeah.
Even from the diary thing, I was guessing because she was like, "Oh, there's one word that could describe this," and I was like, "Okay, love or something along those lines." But then she was like, "Jealousy," which still could be tied to romantic feelings, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe she's just jealous that Asumura is getting spending too much time with her senpai, and she's not trying to be a good brother to her. Maybe that could be also the other reason. But the author is not giving away too much, of course. But let's just say what the author said about the situation is that Saki is starting to show her adolescent puberty. Puberty, that's the word, puberty. Remember, come on, guys! You guys all can relate to it, man. You guys, when you get to 16, you guys can get very horny sometimes. Can start to get very, think too much about.
There's all kinds of
I'm still horny now.
Go through all the emotions, and when you like a girl, when you like a guy, you can get too possessive, overly reactive towards it or something like that. Saki is literally that right now. I mean, I can go back to my high school days when I like this girl I like, and I tend to react in a way that can get very cringy. But it's just that is what Saki is going through right now because remember this, they spend too much living together, not meeting each other for school and stuff, living together. And and you can see from the how they interact with each other with cooking food, talking every night, sharing the thoughts, sharing the story. Just doing that for 1 week is enough to bring someone together, to close together. But they've been doing this for 3 months already, and when you live together for 24 hours with someone that you see every day, you start to develop something inside of you. And it's no coincidence that you will start to see them not your siblings anymore. You're going to start to see, especially if it's a girl, of course, and a boy living together, you start to see them in a way that, you feel like you value them more than just a sibling. And that is literally how a human works. If you don't see them as, if you guys are not blood related, and you guys are living together, and you guys share under the same roof together, and see each other mostly every time you have dinner together, and not just that, they're able to share your thoughts and feelings for each other. Eventually, you start to drift away from the sibling mindset, and you're going to start see them as a love interest. I don't want to. I wish actually not want to say that right now because that could be spoiler for the upcoming stuff, but it's definitely very realistic in terms of how puberty attacks you when you live under the same roof with a girl. So that's why I would say that this story is really good. And in terms of how it portray puberty, how it portray girls in love and boys when they live under the same roof as a girl. But again, it's just how they handle the situation, and I really like how they handle it. And Ghost really did a good job writing the story so far. And volume 3 right now is starting to show major development between Saki and Yuta. And I'm kind of wait to see the stuff getting adapted in the latest episode or even next episode. So all I can say now, Volume 4 is where it really get interesting. But that's what I've been told from the author. I want to buy Volume 4 already, but Volume 4, you know when the Volume 4 is coming out? November.
Ooh. Quite a long way to go.
November. And the anime finishes in fucking September next month. I was like, what's the whole idea of releasing in November when the anime finishes next month? So you're telling me I have to be anime only for Volume 4 for the final 3 episodes of the season? Sure, go for it. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit annoyed by Volume 4 being released so later on to the month. But again, though, the first 3 volumes is really a good telling of a story to how step siblings really interact with each other for the majority of them living together. And now we're reaching to the point where Asamura and Saki starting to act a little bit more like teenagers in love. So yeah, that's what I can say for now.
Yeah, this one I honestly I've enjoyed more than I thought I was going to, and I think it's because of like the things that we've kind of mentioned already, especially the more like realistic, grounded, not like super exaggerated approach to the relationship, just the general relationship compared to like a lot of these other scenarios, like the similar scenarios that we saw like in other anime and how they're handled. So I think this is kind of like a breath of fresh air in that regard. Not to say that no other series has ever done it, but I feel like most of the series that we see that are like this is like really exaggerated or like sexual or whatever the case. So yeah, that's something I really appreciate with this. It's definitely more grounded and definitely deals with like, even if they weren't step siblings, right? Even just in general, right? Like handling if a dude moved in with a girl or vice versa, just that general like awkwardness at first, and then how it kind of progresses how it progresses as it goes along, but also the like tackling what possibly it could turn into, I think is like really interesting, like what the author's trying to explore, where you would think it's going, especially even with Saki right now, right? Like she's talking about like how she's jealous and things of that nature. So you would be like, okay, there's probably some romantic feelings there, you would just assume. So I think it's kind of interesting that the author is kind of exploring that. And I don't know. I like I know this isn't like a rom-com. It's more like just a romance drama, slice of life, whatever. But like the thing with like romance series just in general, I feel like what we see a lot, so much, and I've talked about it so much, is just the characters just won't just like talk it out with each other. They just won't. They won't say what it is. They like they keep it in, whatever. They don't use their words, essentially, right? And that's not really an issue with the characters in this series. I feel like the characters, especially the main 2 characters, they will talk with each other. They'll talk things out. They'll say what it is. They're not really like beating around the bush or keeping things in or whatever the case may be. So that's something I really like about this. And I feel like this, if it does go the romantic route, especially with how it's been being built up so far, I would not have a problem with it, honestly. Like even if it didn't go a romantic route, I just think exploring this is pretty interesting to me, and I like how so far it's been handled. Also, the direction helps a lot because I feel like this series has been directed like really well. So I got to give props to the director here on this series, and yeah, I've been impressed with this one. I said it at the very beginning of me talking, just liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to, because I didn't really have high expectations necessarily for this, but I got into it and I was like, damn, this is actually pretty solid. So yeah, I'm impressed with it so far, and I'm curious to see where it goes from here, especially like the relationship between the 2, and as it continues to build up, and I guess where we go from here, whatever we see in the future, whether that's romance or it's not. I'm curious. So, yeah, that would probably be my thoughts.
I'm conflicted when it comes to this anime. Yeah, okay. Because it's like, I remember when I was watching this, when I was catching up to this for the podcast, I was like, I was confused as to like if this is really gonna develop into like a sibling romance, like step sibling romance type of series. And now that I'm learning that it may very well develop into that type of series, I'm still conflicted.
It's gonna happen. It's still gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Okay, it's gonna happen. Well,
you would assume it's gonna happen, but
well, I'm still conflicted because, like, okay, on one hand, like, I'm glad that this series is like actually leading to somewhere, and like there is something to look forward to when it comes to this series. Despite like not much happening in each episode, and yeah, I do like what many people are praising, like how mature the series is. I like how the characters handle a lot of situations like a mature way, even though there are still some like misunderstandings here and there. And I also do like the animation. Like, I do think it's a very beautiful looking show. But on the other hand, there's still a part of me that's like, okay, is there really no other way to depict like a step sibling type relationship without romance or like romantic feelings hidden inside of it? Because I don't think like, okay, I've never had a step sibling before, so this is not exactly my area of expertise. But still, I feel like there has to be like a lot of like, I feel like has to be like a step sibling relationship. Like I don't think there's romantic undertones hitting in like usual step sibling relationships. Like,
oh no,
yeah, I'm pretty sure there's.
I mean, like there's maybe like, I don't even know. Like there's probably like this.
Yeah.
There's probably like this much where something actually ends up happening. But I think it's for like from an author's standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
To depict something like in fiction, and especially going the romance route with it, and especially a topic like this, like it, something that a lot of people will say like, oh, taboo or whatever the fuck you'd want to say. Exploring romance with that is gonna interest people, no matter what. Now, you should know just like, I don't know, just like them being siblings and there being no romance and them exploring that, people are not gonna latch onto that.
Yeah,
personally, so from an author's perspective, I could see why they would why we see it, because this isn't the only series. Like a lot of series do this. They go the romantic route with the siblings, like a lot, right? Or they explore that. So I get it from an author perspective, but I also see where you're coming from, because it does feel like this is how it's handled every time, or the route they go with it every time.
Yeah, because I understand why you need that. You need something to get readers interested and viewers interested. But it's like, I can't remember a single instance in like anime in general where we see like a step sibling relationship and it's not, and it's just that, it's just like a family platonic type of relationship with no like romantic undertones underneath it. And it's like, even with teenagers, it's like, they're opposite sex and you're living under the same roof. But I don't think even teenagers want to like fuck every member of the opposite sex they see. So I don't like, that's one of the main conflicts I have with the show. Also, I feel like, I understand like not every anime needs to have, something big happening every episode. But do we really need 40 seconds of them just eating dinner silently? And then and I remember like during episode 4 when we saw like the whole date between Asamura and Shiori, we got God knows how much time dedicated to just this like fake movie that they're watching. It was like, I remember watching it. It's the like probably the first episode that I've watched where I actually had to like skip through the scenes, like just the movie scenes. Like, do we really need It seems like they're really necessary. Like, come on now. But yeah, also like yeah. Other than that, Dave's My Stepsister. Look, it's not like it's. I wouldn't. I don't hate the show, but I just can't agree with people who rank this show just so highly. Like who consider this like one of their favorite shows this season. Like yeah, there are some likable aspects with the show, but
It's definitely my favorite show for the season for obvious reasons.
but for me, it just doesn't do much for me. But I will keep watching it just to see where it goes, I guess.
I mean, that's a very honest answer you got there, and I'm not gonna lie though. I can understand why it's not for you, but of course, you can say this sort of story is a hit and miss for many people, and for me though, I really enjoy it, and not just because of Saki, but I'm also enjoying how the author handled the pacing of the story rather than just jump right into the romance stuff. So it's also good. Also, can we just talk about the supporting character, the senpai and the best friend? They're like not really like the supporting character you expect them to like really push them to be together. It's just almost like the senpai is just trying her best to be a good senior to support Asamura in terms of how he handled everyday stuff and giving life advice and stuff. And the whole movie thing. Okay, I need to say this first. The movie thing was anime original. That whole thing was anime original. And you guys in the light novel, they just talk about the movie and they didn't really go too far into it. But in the anime, they just gave a whole ass 2-3 minutes of it, and I say, okay, oh sure. Well, I mean, is it really necessary? But I mean, it's good that they're going a little bit further with the source material. But maybe the movie can convey some stuff might happen in the story. But so far, I had to agree with you. The movie thing was not really necessary, even as a light novel reader. But yeah, I gotta say, man, this anime. It's really for me though, because I really enjoy the interaction between Saki and Asamura, but I'm more excited for what to happen later in the story, which I'm hoping it handled well, not rather than just jumping into a relationship. So for now though, I'm saving my full thoughts, of course, for the final podcast. So make you guys stay tuned for that in October, first week of October.
I want to go back to Shiori, the senpai. Do we know how old she is? Because I think I did remember her
19.
19, okay. And like Asamura is still like a teenager, right?
16.
16. Yeah, because I bring this up because it does seem like she may be developing feelings for him as well. I could be wrong on that.
I have not read enough. I have not read further in the light novel, so I don't know. So, but
I could see it happening.
I mean, if it does happen though, then there will be a lot of mixed response to it.
Of course.
So, yeah, but I think the author is very well aware, knowing that people will only ship Saki and Asamura, and that is about all they want to see. No love rival coming in to add more spice to the story and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that the author understood the task that Saki and Asamura is what we all care for, and nothing else. That's all I can say.
All right. Other than that, I think we're ready to move on now. Next up on the list, oh yeah, Makeine. I know many of you guys are also putting this show on a high pedestal. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys talk first, and what do you guys think?
It's a fun anime. It's a very fun anime. Anna carried this anime as always, and to be honest though, I think it's best if Ryu talk more about this anime than me, because for me though, I guess for me, I'm just enjoying the comedy, the whole realistic approach to breakups and relationship dilemma and stuff like that. I really liked all of that in terms of how Anna was just there as a mascot mostly, and she had her story being told already, and now she's friends with Kazuhito. Eventually become a lovers. I never can see that happening, but. It's just that I don't know. It's just like the same thing I can say for Alya for this. It's just Roshidera, aka Roshidera. It's just she's literally the sole carry of this anime. So she's literally the star of this anime. So yeah,
For sure.
You-
Yeah.
Anna is just like her personality screams Chisato, man. Her personality is so outgoing, very how to say, very engaging for many people in terms of her, her how she reacts to some of the situation with eating and stuff like that. It's just very fun to see how she now plays as a very like how to say a helping hand for our main boy in dealing with other people's relationship issues. And I really enjoy some of the stuff she does though, but eventually we will see that those two start to show some signs of affection for each other. But for the time being though, it's about handling relationship and how Anna was just there just to provide real help support for him in terms of dealing with the situation. Memory?
Yeah, this one I've been enjoying a lot. I think really the comedy has been hitting for me a lot, and I think what helps, especially is like the animation, the drawings, character designs, things of that nature. Like I think of the scenes, like when Anna and they were in the club room. I forget what episode it specifically was, but she called the girl like a home wrecker. Like that, I got such a kick out of that. It just a lot of her like facial expressions, I really like. But yeah, Anna, like she definitely makes the show, I feel like, for me and probably for a lot of other people as well. But yeah, this one's just, I could see why. I feel like it is some of like the common like rom-com sort of like tropes you kind of have that they're kind of tackling. So I could see why maybe people would have an issue with that. But I would say it is pretty, like, I think Mad Lad mentioned kind of like realistic. Like I think of like Lemon's especially when you're like in high school and stuff like that. Like she's friends with someone and she has feelings or has had feelings for the dude that is like with her friend, which is like shit that happens like even outside of school, but especially like when you're in school and just there's always like the teenage drama and shit that's going on. And I feel like it was more so girls, at least when I was in high school, they get way over dramatic about certain things. But yeah, I just, some of the things in here, I'm just like, okay, this really like took me back to like high school and how a lot like certain situations would play out and how certain characters would be like, certain people would be reacting and whatnot. So the characters kind of reflect that. So, but that's not even the big thing for me, is like the romance stuff or whatever. The comedy is really what's been hitting for me with this one so far. And Anna, like I mentioned, she's been standout for this. I am curious though where now I'm still behind. I'm like 2 episodes behind, I think. But from where I'm at right now, I'm just like, and I don't even know if there's been any progression or anything like that in the recent episodes, but you would think or assume that, especially with how these girls are kind of like essentially kind of getting help or support from Nukumizu, you would think that they develop feelings for him, like, right? So I'm curious how that's going to play out, if it's going to be like Anna and him, or if it's going to be like kind of like multiple girls sort of thing, and he's going to have to handle that whole fiasco or whatever the case. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept where it's, because we have saw series where it's like, okay, the dude that is getting with the girl, the girl was dumped or she went through something with her ex. Like we have saw stuff like that, but to kind of handle it with multiple characters in different scenarios kind of playing out in different ways, I guess is kind of interesting to me. So yeah, I've been enjoying this one. The comedy, surprising, like I didn't think that was going to be the big thing for me with this one, was the comedy. I was not expecting that to hit as much. And the teacher is crazy. The teacher is something. I like the teacher too. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember what her name was, but the teacher, she's like rooting him on and like helping him out and stuff, like leaving him alone in like the nurse's office and whatnot. I'm just like, Jesus, teacher is like One of Us or something. One of Us. But yeah, this one I've really been enjoying. Production is amazing. Like A1 Pictures, like you can definitely tell this is one of like their passion projects. I think I saw some. I don't know if it was like a leak. I think it was a leak that like it hasn't been confirmed, but I think it was a leak that they plan to do like more of this already. Like they already have a season 2 planned or something like that. That was a leak, so it's not really confirmation, but I did see something like that. So this is something they're like committed to, and this is like one of their passion projects. So, and you can tell because it looks really good, and that's definitely one of the things that I really like about it. But also a lot of other things to I feel like to like about it too. So yeah, that would be my thoughts on that one.
Fair play. First, well said. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think it's time for me. I think it's time for Kawaii Crew's hot take of the season. All right.
Here we go.
So, for those of you who have not been on Memory's Discord server and have not seen the Makeine discussion thread, I said on there that I actually dropped this anime. Now, I will say though that I do like the animation. Like this is another gorgeous show this season, and some of the comedy does hit. There are some jokes here and there that I did kind of find funny, but for the most part, the comedy just isn't there for me. It just doesn't do much for me. It kind of reminds me of Konosuba because Nukumizu is like the only character in this show with like some semblance of sanity, and everyone else, like the girls, are just like weird in their own way. But yeah, the comedy just doesn't do much for me, especially the whole gag about how Anna like just gets into a seething rage every time she sees like the man that she's in love with, like with another girl. Like that just okay, like I get it. All right. The whole point of this show is like the girl, it's a focus on girls being rejected, you know, unrequited love, jealousy, envy, and all that. But it's like the way they go about it with Anna, like she just turns into a seething rage every time like every time this happens. Like we've seen it for like 5 episodes straight. Now, I mean, I understand like it's not easy to move on with something like that, but when we've seen similar reactions from her for 5 episodes straight with no apparent signs of her like actually improving or her actually like moving on, then that's when I just like that. That's something that just doesn't hit for me. Like that's just something I'm just not a fan of. That I just don't find that particularly amusing or funny. Also, the characters as well, they just don't really do much for me. Especially Nukumizu and Anna. Nukumizu, I just think he's just kind of like he just comes across to me like the stereotypical like rom-com protagonist who's just surrounded by a bunch of girls, and he's pretty much just there. Like there's not really much to him. He's kind of like a wet blanket of a protagonist, in my opinion. But yeah, like just overall, this show just doesn't really do much for me. I just can't get behind it. So yeah, that's why unfortunately I had to make the fateful decision, just drop it after episode 5. Yeah, episode 5. That's when I dropped it. So yeah, other than that, like I wouldn't say like it's trash. Well, I wouldn't say I hate this show with a burning passion, but I understand why people like it, but it's just not for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me when it comes to this show.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't blame you for not liking it because, like I said, this anime can be a hit and miss for many people. I mean, to be honest, a lot of animes are hit and miss, but this one though, I can see some people not liking it. Some people are just enjoying the comedy. Some people just enjoy the waifus. But for me, I'm just enjoying the ride of it. So I'm just gonna stick with it to the end and see how the story goes. But if you don't like it, it's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can move on now.
All right, next up on the list is Giji Harem.
AKA all the girls in one body.
The best description I've seen for this show is instead of 100 girlfriends who really, really love you, now it's the one girlfriend who really, really loves you.
It really loves you, but she has multiple personalities that can entertain you in many ways. So, yeah, I gotta say, man, this show is just fun to watch, and mainly for one thing. Is Rin. That's all I can say.
Yep.
She is literally the only reason why people care for this anime. People want to see Saori Hayami do some crazy voice acting. So, yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay. Remember, you watching the show?
Yeah, this one's been pretty cute, honestly. I've been enjoying it. I feel like one of the things I was worried about was that, like, one of the things I was worried about at the beginning was that, like, okay, I just had the vibe. I was like, okay, they're gonna play out this whole, like, season or however long, you know, of her acting out the different, like, tropes of, like, obviously that we see with rom-coms or whatever, like tsunderes and all that stuff. I was like, okay, they're just gonna, like, and we're not going to see any progression. That was kind of like my worry. And I feel like, especially recently, we have been actually seeing some progression, and it's not just, it doesn't feel like it's going to be something where they're just trying to stretch it out for however long that they can. I thought something was going to happen with, like, the graduation thing or whatever, the most recent episode, but I feel like I think she got cut off, or they cut away from the scene. Like, she was about to say,
yeah,
like,
it looked like she was gonna confess something, but they never revealed what it was.
Yeah, they so that's probably something I guess they're gonna come back to, because even after that, I was like, okay, they're probably gonna come back to that in the episode, and they never did. So, at least from what I remember.
Honestly, that whole episode was fucking weird because it looked
it was kind of weird.
It looked like it was gonna be like the end of the whole anime. But then there's like still 5 episodes.
Like the credits started rolling and stuff. I was like, what?
Like,
I was like, what's going on here? Did I miss something?
Yeah, so I'm definitely I'm wondering what's gonna happen. Like, because AG's already graduated, so
yeah,
how are they gonna?
Which is an interesting thing that I feel like you don't really see, like, with these kinds of series. I feel like it's always like, oh, they're in high school and then they both, like, end up graduating at the end, if they even do graduate or whatever. But, like, now that because she's still going to be in school, I believe, and then he's graduating, so it's like, okay, how is this gonna go now? But yeah, this series is really cute, really enjoyable. Just seeing especially Rin, you know, her reactions to a lot of the things that AG says, and obviously the stuff that she does acting as the other, like, you know, characters, like the tropes or whatever. Killing it. I love that part of it a lot. And yeah, this one has been fun. I don't, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like one of my favorites of the season or anything like that, because I don't think I'd say that. But I don't have any problems. I don't have any issues with the series. Like, if you had to ask me to point out like a negative or something like that, I probably couldn't. I've been enjoying it, and I don't have really anything bad to say about it.
Yeah, to me, I'm just enjoying the voice actor Rin, pretty much Rin, and that's about it. So
that's valid.
Yeah,
I mean, outside of the main two, it's like, I mean, even the dude's not all that, you know, but outside of them, really, there's like really, which I get it. The whole show is like really them, but like the other characters, there's really no one of note, honestly, at least for me, or that really stands out.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, for me, this show, like, I'm enjoying this, but I think the show is just fine so far. I do like like many people. I love the chemistry between Rin and AG. The voice actors, Nobuhiko Okamoto and Sari Hayami, they did a fantastic job bringing these characters to life. And yeah, I do think Rin is just absolutely adorable. But the main thing, the main like drawback I have with the show is that there's, unlike other like cute rom-coms similar to this, there's no subtlety when it comes to like the romance, because like the main thing that goes on with this show is that Rin is just so madly in love with Eiji, and like they make it's so obvious, like during in every single episode, like she's just so like you can immediately, like it's so obvious, like, you can immediately tell that she's in love head over heels for Eiji. And that's yes, while it's adorable, that's like, I feel like that's, for me, it's the main thing that's holding the show back, because I feel like the series is just really jamming down our throats that Rin is in love with Eiji, when I feel like I prefer where I really prefer like more subtlety when it comes to like the romantic feelings, when it comes to, like, the main couple. Like, I would rather prefer like if they go for the more like developed, like the feelings develop over time kind of thing, or like maybe the girl slowly realizes her feelings, or maybe we've seen that time and time again, but still, but yeah, that's really like that's really the main thing that just prevents me from putting this like on a high pedestal, especially compared to like other cutesy rom-coms that I've seen. I feel like there's a lot of other shows that does the whole cutesy rom-com thing better. But still, I still think this is a really enjoyable show for what it is. Especially like I can, for those who are not familiar with like cute rom-coms such as this, I can definitely see why they would put this so high. Like, I can definitely see why they would enjoy the ever-living hell out of this, and it would give them diabetes. But for me, it's just, yeah, it's just fine for me. And I'll still watch this. I'm still very curious how they're gonna keep this show going now that AG has graduated and Rin is still in high school.
Oh, they will find ways, all right.
Oh yeah,
they will find ways.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that at least. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I think we're ready to move on. Next up on the list is probably, I would say, maybe a hidden gem for this season.
All I can say for this
Elusive
for now
Samurai.
all I can say for this now, I'm just gonna save my overall thoughts for this anime until the final podcast, because so far I'm not really. I don't even have anything to really say about it other than great animation. So that's why I think I'd rather just save my overall thoughts for this in the final podcast, because right now I just don't even feel motivated to talk about this anime right now. So I'm just gonna save it for that one.
Remember, are you watching this?
Yes, I'm a little behind. I'm like 2 episodes behind.
Oh
yeah,
You did
but
mention that.
from what I have watched, so far, I would say I've been enjoying this one. I feel like I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's a little too much, especially like some of the faces and like some of the comedy like doesn't really hit for me, but like some of the faces that the characters be making is like extremely like wacky to me. I feel like there's been multiple times I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just like the most like craziest looking faces. But I don't know. I feel like I don't really have much to say on this one either.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. And I think the concept is kind of interesting. Albeit kind of like it's weird. It's like kind of weird to me because it's like, oh, it's this. What's his name? Oshi. The dude who is. Wait, no, is that him? No, I'm thinking of Yorishige. That's who I'm thinking of. The dude who is pretty much with all of with Tokiyuki and all them.
I think it's.
I just think like the image of it is just weird. It's just like, okay, Yorishige, he's like praised as this god or whatever, and he is kind of offering Tokiyuki like guidance and helping him out. After obviously everything that happened with Tokiyuki and his his people and all that. But it's like, okay, you have this grown man worshipped as a god. He's, guiding Tokiyuki, and then there's just like a bunch of other children around. Like it's just it's kind of weird to me that it's like, okay, such an odd group, right? But I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this one. There's like, I think of the episode where Tokiyuki, it was like the first time Tokiyuki killed. That was like, that's just one of the things that instantly sticks out to me, especially like the animation in that episode. Which I mean, the production has been really good with this one. There was the episode where people were like complaining about the CGI or whatever with the horses, like when they're on the horse.
Yeah, that was one thing that was like surprises me.
Yeah, that was. I saw worse for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I made a YouTube short talking about it, and then a bunch of Japanese people came to me and saying that, oh, it's because this animation is working on this and that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so you think of that, and then like you see stuff like that. They're on horseback and whatnot, and the whole, and then you think of like, okay, JoJo Part 7, Steel Ball Run. They're like always on horses or some shit. Apparently, there's like there's fights or battles where they're on horseback. I'm just like, oh, can't wait for that. It'd probably be CGI, because like to draw that with animation and especially how much it was moving in that episode of Elusive Samurai.
Not easy.
Like how much they're moving around, and to keep, especially like a horse, like the characters is probably hard enough, but then you throw them on a horse and they're fighting. It's like,
yeah,
I can't even really blame them. But like, I don't know. The concept is obviously it's anime, it's fiction, whatever. But like the whole, now we have saw Tokiyuki kill, so it's not like, okay, Tokiyuki's just running or evading everything. But it is kind of like the philosophy that they kind of have around Tokiyuki and his character is like, I don't know. I could, if people can't really grasp this series or like get into it yet because of things like that, I would not be surprised, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I like, part of me is a little like, I don't know. I don't know how to really put it, but I'm enjoying it, but I feel like there's something holding it back. I don't know. I feel like I'm not enjoying it maybe as much as I could be, but it's been solid. And it's from the creator of Assassination Classroom, too. So, yeah, which I still have yet to finish.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually really enjoying this. Of course, first of all, yeah, it's from the author of Assassination Classroom, so I had to check this out just from that fact alone. And you can definitely see, I think you could see some of the clues that, yes, this is indeed by the same author of Assassination Classroom. There are some similarities. And I even pointed this out on one reply on Twitter, because both of them have violence, both of them have eccentric mentor characters, both of them have small male protagonists that look like girls, and both of them have colorful animation. So, yeah, I think there are some similarities there between this Assassination Classroom. Also, one of the things I love about this show, it's a historical fiction. I'm kind of a sucker when it comes to historical fiction anime. I've seen so much anime that takes place in like feudal Japan and like Victorian era type, like gothic type like anime. So yeah, I really like I like a lot of historical fiction anime, and this anime is no exception. Also, I really like the characters. Yorishige, like I know, okay, Yorishige, I understand why he could be off-putting for some people. But I think this dude is hilarious at times. Also love the bond between him and Tokiyuki and the other kids. And yes, the action and the animation is just so good. I love, like, you can really tell, like, the animation team, they're really creative. Like, they take a lot of creative liberties when it comes to animation. And we've seen time and time again, like, this show just really has its own kind of like style to it. It's like especially when in episode 2, when we saw Tokiyuki decapitate someone for the first time, and during, I think it was episode 5 or 6, where we saw Takauji just decapitating all these people, and he's walking towards the Emperor, and it just turned into this giant mind fuck of like just like with all these psychedelic imagery, like, and like the audio that plays during it, it's like, oh my god, it's trippy as hell. In fact, the whole episode in general, like, I feel like Cloverworks really cooked with the animation and the visuals. One scene that pops to mind is during the first half, where we see I think Tokiyuki and Gemba hiding from one of the evil dudes. And you could see like the trees that they were hiding behind turning into the guy's like feet. And once he stomps, it immediately cuts to him. I think that like the visual direction in that scene and like scenes like that is just so good. I really like it. Also, I think in general, this show just has its own charm to it. And we see that immediately apparent with the first episode, where we see Tokiyuki like running away from like the other, like from the handlers, like the other staff in like the palace. And you like, it plays off like this, it plays off like it's a fun, charming type of show. But then,
the ball drops.
Yeah, the ball drops. You see Takiyuki cut someone's face in half, and that's when everything just goes to absolute shit.
That is pretty clever how they've done that like multiple times now. Just like that ball, like when the ball dropped off the like thing, and then like it synced up with like a head being cut off or whatever. Just like, and yeah, they've done that multiple times.
And you see all these people being butchered. And like you see like everything just
like you thought it was all fun
and
games.
Yeah. Exactly. And I feel like
pretty brutal.
Exactly. It's very brutal. And I feel like that immediately became the thing for like the rest of the series as well. Like, it's the balance between like the lighthearted fun moments and the comedy, as well as really dark like imagery and themes. And I expect that to persist throughout the entirety of the series. Now, I know there are some like the common complaints people have with the show. As we talk about the CGI, like, yeah, it's jarring, I guess. It's very noticeable, but like we said, we've seen worse CGI in other anime. And yeah, it's understandable why they might do it, because horseback animation, especially during action scenes, is not easy to animate. And if that's what they gotta do in order to, cut time, make deadlines, prioritize other scenes and shots from in the anime, then hey, I'm okay with it. Also, I think another complaint some people have is that the villains come off as very like generic and kind of cartoonish, which I can definitely understand. The villains are just not the villains don't seem very much in general, like in terms of characterization. But I don't really mind that, because I do think it serves a purpose, and that it does help Tokiyuki's development, as well as the development of like the other kid characters. Because what we see here is like kind of a David and Goliath story, right? Because here we see these like highly trained soldiers, like these grown men who are just absolutely ruthless. They don't give a fuck who they kill. Like some of them even take pleasure in killing, and like they are highly trained. Like they are exceptionally good at butchering people, and they heavily outnumber the protagonist side. Meanwhile, like the protagonists, they're just like, it's one dude with no fighting capabilities against a bunch of kids who do have some fighting capabilities, but at the end of the day, they're small and they're a bunch of kids. And they have to use their wits and their brains in order to stand a chance against these dudes, because they're, like, physically, like, they are inferior to the antagonists, who are grown men, who are soldiers, who are warriors. So I think that's really one of the things that makes the show, like, so interesting, and like that keeps viewers like watching, because you want to know like how these kids are gonna, how can they possibly stack up against these warriors, these bloodthirsty, like, dare I say, monsters, because that's definitely how a lot of them are portrayed. So yeah, I mean, yeah, but of course, yeah, I understand, like they can come off as very cartoonish. Also, another complaint is that the comedy is off balance, like which I do agree with, especially during the first few episodes. Like the comedy surrounding Yorishige, where he makes jokes like during, like especially that one scene where he made a joke like literally right after Tokiyuki had a mental breakdown. Yeah, that is very off-putting. But I do hear that he does get better as the series progresses. And I do think we even see that now. Like, I do think the comedy surrounding Yorishige is toning down a bit. So yeah, I'm expecting, hopefully, like, the comedy is more balanced as the series progresses. But yeah, other than that, Elusive Samurai, I really do think it's really good so far. Like, there's a lot to like when it comes to this show. I do thoroughly believe that it's a hidden gem, like it's kind of a hidden gem in this series, because in this season, because I don't see a lot of people really talking about this. Well, except for that one shot with Tokiyuki in episode 1, where I don't know if you guys saw this, but like there's this one Japanese dude who tweeted about that shot with Tokiyuki blushed, like looking at Yorishige all sweaty and like blushing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Japanese dude was talking about how he wants to do unspeakable things.
Yeah.
To Tokiyuki.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was something. But yeah, other than that, Lose Samurai, really fucking good so far in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, I think we're ready to move on now. Next up on the list is a show that I am not watching, but I heard it is quite ecchi. And that is 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. So
pretty horny.
Yeah.
Little horny. And now the teacher's getting involved. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Wow.
I'm going to let you guys talk about this show. I'll be right back.
All I can say is that this anime is single-handedly been saved, well, for non-Japanese watchers, is the waifus. And if you're into into the plot of the story, well, I go really into the cosplay culture, because they're diving a lot into the lore around cosplay and how the cosplayers prepare for upcoming cons and how they go about to do poses, and posing apparently is very important to get the best out of your cosplay, and you can learn a lot about this sort of stuff in watching this anime. And for me though, I'm watching this not just because I'm into the cosplay culture and some of the ecchi stuff. The ecchi for some reason isn't really all that appealing, but it's there. But for me though, the one thing that really keeps me watching is the waifus. And the waifus are just so cute in the series, man. And seriously, man, they really know how to keep people engaged with this anime. And by doing so, by giving us some edgy elements to the cosplaying. The girls accidentally taking off the shirts and blah 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 in the bra, and some edgy booby scenes. They know what they're doing with the series, man. You can't lie to me. They know what they're doing in order to keep us watching and engage with the story. But lately, I haven't really been enjoying making content for this anymore because the engagement for it is quite shit, and I'd rather just watch in my own time because Friday for next season I need to create a free schedule to it for the upcoming anime. So this one though is more so for me just enjoy for understanding the cosplay culture, and most importantly just to see how the relationship develops between the senpai and Rivisa. Because not gonna lie though, after the train incident, I am starting to get frustrated by the relationship already. But yeah, that's pretty much what I can pretty much say so far. Because there's 24 episodes more to go, I guess, in this case for this season. So I would say I was just gonna say my thoughts.
I'm surprised that there's 2 cores.
It's a build up. Remember, the funny thing is though, they're releasing this anime on the right time because they got the summer comic kit and they got the winter comic kit, and this anime finishes in the winter season, and people will be more invested to go take pictures of cosplayers because of it.
That's the thing I've heard about this. I mean, you can kind of tell from some of the stuff we've had so far is that like it is actually like pretty serious about the cosplay and what comes with it, and like going to the events and things of that nature, which I do find that pretty interesting. I'm not into like cosplaying or anything like that all like crazy, but I do go to obviously I go to cons and things of that nature, so it is kind of cool to see stuff like that. But yeah, I think like really what makes I think why I'm even still watching is probably the girls, honestly. And now like the sensei's getting the senseis in there, and it's like, okay, even better. But yeah, I'd say the ecchi's pretty nice, and I think just like the things that I just mentioned before, like the cosplay stuff and actually like what comes with it, and it actually is pretty serious about it. That's kind of a plus as well. The main guy, I'm not crazy on.
He's annoying. He's so annoying.
Yeah, which probably a lot of people would agree with that, honestly. But
he's so annoying.
Because like, who really cares about him? It's like it's the girls.
Funny enough, I can't even stand him at all. I can't even stand him.
But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one. Like, I'm still watching it. I'm having fun with it.
Actually, the thing is, the cosplaying is actually can be a professional career too. Japanese taking it very seriously, and that's why this anime is like a gift to the people that are into cosplaying and understanding how the whole concept of cosplaying works. And apparently, taking like when the episode teaches the otaku boy how to take pictures. That's like, so since I taking picture with interesting poses can make or break a photographer's career in cosplay, because apparently they earn a lot of money from selling cosplay pictures. That's why I found out about it. And when I was in Anime Japan this year actually, some of the people that took, and Comiket more specifically, going to be more of those people. They actually bring their own camera, their own HD professional cameras. They have the professional lighting brought with them, like a big bag of it too, because this actually makes a lot of money for them. And cosplayers value that, because if they get their picture being taken from a big from a very renowned photographer, they can get the career going and they can earn commission from this. So it's definitely, you can say that this anime really teaches, really shows the professional world of cosplaying. But for me though, I'm just watching it for the waifus. We were still talking about Dimensional Seduction kawaii.
Oh, okay.
So for now,
I'm with you. I'm the same.
I'm just gonna save my overall thoughts again for October. But for now, I'm just enjoying it for the waifus.
Yeah, same.
All right, I'm guessing we're ready to move on now.
Oh my god! I wish Annie Pope and Ryu here, because they're having a war. They're having a war with this right now.
Yeah. All right. Next up on the list, Shoshimin Series. Yeah, I'm on Rio's side here. I am really loving this show, but I'm gonna let you guys. I'm still gonna let you guys have the floor first.
To be honest though, I'm just watching it and like this is how I watch it. Okay. 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 Next episode. And then wait 6 days for the next episode. And I'm not gonna lie though, I enjoy some of the mystery elements to it, like how they hand how they try to solve making chocolate.
Hey, it's unique.
Oh,
I mean, what other anime you see doing that?
oh my god! I mean, it is from the creator of Hyoka. I
Yeah.
understand that, and you know there will be a lot of mystery element to it, and a lot of problem solving, and a lot of weird, weird like atmospheric build up to the mystery solving to a daily life stuff. But I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm still annoyed at the fact that we never got season 2 for Hyoka. But yeah, this is definitely like let's just say this is like a present to Hyoka fans. That's a oh, the author said, you know what, you guys never get season 2. Okay, here enjoy another one of my work, Shoshimin Series. So I would say this is a very fun anime to watch on a relaxing time where you don't put too much thought into it unless you're into mystery solving, and which I'm not really into that, but I'm more so into how they handle the dialogue moments, and the OST really builds up to the mystery solving to some daily things that we don't really think about solving mystery to. So it's a really interesting anime to watch, all right. And Animo didn't really enjoy it, and his argument is fair, I would say, but also very lack of patience or mentality he has there. I'm not throwing shade at him or anything, but I'm just saying that he is at the age where he wants things going already, and this anime is definitely not for him. So yeah, and he should really learn to like move on from the anime when he drop, because like when he drop an anime, he still talks about it, and that annoys me a lot, by the way. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not caught up with this one. I've watched like 4 episodes, but I've enjoyed it so far. I know it's a little people's. I get it, right? You know, some of the things that I feel like the mysteries have been focused on is a little like absurd. But I don't know. I feel like the most interesting thing to me. Now I'm not caught up, so they probably showed more potentially. Maybe not. I could be wrong, but the kind of hinting that they've done at the past, like the Osanai and Jogo, right? I think that's his name.
Yeah, Jogoro Kawato.
Yeah. So like the 2 main characters, the kind of hinting that they've done, or like little foreshadowing they've done, with their past and how they used to be. I think that by far is the most interesting thing to me. In them exploring that, and like production wise, visually wise, animation wise, like this is really nice. So it does kind of help, I would say, a bit, and the direction is strong. So I would say it does help when you do have these slower burn kind of episodes, or whatever you'd want to say. I don't know. I just remember watching the Hot Cocoa episode, and we're just like, I was watching with a group of friends, and we're just sitting there like, they're really gonna do this for a whole episode, aren't they? And then like the episode would keep going on, and they're like, yeah, they're still doing it, and then they would keep going on, and we're like, wow, they really. And then the episode ended, and we're like, wow, they really just did a whole episode on that. Like, you kind of have to give them props, because it's like, I don't know, to go that into it, and that, I guess, in depth, if you'd want to put it that way. To break it down all like that, and for the characters to even be serious about figuring it out, is like, I don't know. It's interesting.
I cracked up laughing.
I was laughing too. I was laughing too, because like a lot of it is just like, to us, it's like, okay, it's so
by the way, who
stupid.
the fuck microwave a fucking milk?
A whole milk carton.
Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid, but it's like, you're watching it like, damn, these characters are really going to do this for a whole episode, and they're like dead ass serious about it, and they're thinking about it like so logically. I don't know. Like, I haven't watched really anything very similar to this before. So it's in a way, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. I don't know. And I find the characters' conversations, like some of the conversations they have, I find them really intriguing, to be honest, for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the creator of Hyoka. What do you expect more
Yeah.
from it? It's a mystery solving anime with
Yeah, and
Sherlock
then
Holmes.
especially and then especially when you throw in like they're kind of sprinkling in the bits like from their past, like how they used to be and like how they're trying to put it behind, but like they're still like really not, or like
Yeah,
it's
this
kind
is
of
literally Sherlock Holmes, but daily life. Sherlock Holmes when he's not when he's not working, he's just like, oh, yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I like this one so far from what I've watched. I still got to catch up, but from the 4 episodes I've watched, I've been enjoying it. So
Kawaii.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of surprised by how much I'm enjoying this. And I gotta say, oh man, I wish Annie Poe was here because man, there's a part of me that wants to roast his ass for his takes.
Oh, trust me. Why is his latest one of his latest Twitter tweets saying that good animation say this anime? I say, what are you on about? You, I get it. You don't like this anime. You dropped it. Move on from it. And he just keeps on adding spice to it. And Ryu was pissed off by it, by the way. I saw his reply to it. So Anipo, I really wish Anipo was here because I really want to. Even I want to cook him for that.
Okay, yeah. Here's what I'll say. Okay, like in regards to the mystery of the show, I mean, yes, the mysteries of the show are on the most mundane, like non-consequential type of mysteries. Like it's like they solve mysteries about how Kengo make hot cocoa. Oh, they solve mysteries about how like who filled the donut, the pastry with habanero sauce. Oh, like okay, well, actually, wait. Actually, I don't want to spoil the latest episode from memory, but yeah, there's a mystery that's going on with that with that as well. So yeah, I understand like the mysteries in the show are like so mundane and all of that, but what I like about the mysteries of the show is that despite it being the mysteries being on just the most like mundane, insignificant stuff, the execution of it's just so engaging to me because, and I'm struggling, like I'm not really sure myself, to be honest, as to why I love the way the mystery is executed. I think it's because like it's still like while Kobato is trying to solve mysteries, like there's still like hints and clues as to what the answer may be. So, and you kind of feel like you're trying to solve the mystery with them. You're also, I mean, I found myself, from time to time crafting my own theories, and coming up with possible solutions for each mystery. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, other than that, I can't really explain it myself. But all I know is that I just find the mystery of the show very intriguing, very interesting. Like the mysteries of the show is just like the mystery aspect is just so good in my opinion. Also, I really love the chemistry between Kobato and Osanai. Like, I think those two, like you can tell, they're just really two peas in a pod. And with the latest episode, I don't think this is going to be a spoiler, but with the latest episode, it's just further proof that Osanai is really like the only person so far that's able to give Kobato a run for his money in terms of like mystery solving. And that's one of the reasons why she's just such a great fit for Kobato. Like, even though they're not like really, they don't like, it doesn't seem like they have really romantic feelings for each other. That's totally fine for me because they're just like the chemistry, like even if they're just friends, like the chemistry is just still really freaking good between them. And there is some underlying mystery between their characters as well because we don't know exactly what happened to them in their past. Yes, we do know that Kobato, he wants to stop solving mysteries, even though he secretly likes it. He wants to stop solving mysteries because he wants to be normal. And I also wants to be normal. because apparently in her past she used to be not the most even-tempered type of person. Like it seems like she really is kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing. However, as we've seen multiple times throughout the anime, like the normal facade, that's all it is. It's just a facade. The mask, it comes off pretty easily. Because really, when you think about it, a lot of the stuff that they do is not normal. Like, first, like the very concept of mysteries itself. Like, why would you go through all this trouble of like solving for yourself where the hot cocoa comes from when a normal person would just ask Kengo how he makes the hot cocoa, or like where he puts or what he did with the milk carton, and even what we saw with the latest episode, like what Kobato did, like what normal person would do that. Of course, I don't want to spoil it for memory. So yeah, like you could tell, like Kobato, as much as he wants to stop being a detective and all that, you could tell he still loves solving mysteries. But yeah, other than that, like also like as for possible cons, there's really not really any significant problems I have with this series so far, other than I still feel like there's some unanswered questions. Like, we saw a dude around episode 3 who, like, it seemed like he was going to play, like, a big role later on, but we haven't seen anything from him other than that little teaser from episode 3. So, I'm still wondering, okay, is he going to be, like, a significant character as the series goes on? Like, when is he going to be revealed? What's his role in the story going to be? Because it seemed like he's going to be significant or play some type of role in the story. But we have yet to see that. Also, I feel like the series is very episodic. I mean, like, we literally saw, like, during episode, I think 4, we saw that one scene where that woman, she was pissed that her man was cheating on her or something like that, and she tossed water that was supposed to hit the man, but ended up landing on Osanai. And it looked like there was gonna be something that's gonna. It looked like they're gonna evolve, like Osanai and Kobato. It looked like they were gonna evolve themselves with those two characters, but we never saw that. Like we never saw those two, like ex couples. I guess you could say, play a bigger role. So I'm wondering, like, okay, are we really just gonna skip over that? I guess we are, because we haven't really seen anything spin out of that. So I think that's just kind of a weird choice. But yeah, other than that, Anipode has been treating this like it's the worst thing in the world, like, which is very confusing to me because yes, while these mysteries are on the most inconsequential shit, I'm wondering why, like, he complains about this, like, it's boring and nothing really happens, but I wonder, like, he complained, like, that's his complaint with this show, but yet he loves Days with My Stepsister, where nothing really much happens in that show either. So I'm wondering what his logic is, and I just can't agree with him when he just bashes the ever-living shit out of this show and just treats this show as trash. So, yeah.
Here's the thing. He's at his 30s already, so that's all I can say.
Yeah, I guess so. Like he has he has different priorities from us younglings. I guess that's really what it comes down to. Either way, I'm hoping we can get him on the end of season podcast. But yeah, other than that, Shoshimin Series, very good, very surprisingly good. I would even go so far as to say, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more from this show. But yeah, other than that, I think we're ready to move on now. Next up on the list.
Yeah, the next one, you already know what I'm gonna say about this one, but so
okay,
that's what I'm not gonna say.
The next anime on the list I want to roast Ryu for his takes. And I wish Anipo was here so that we can talk about this together.
Real. Huh. Okay. So yeah, I dropped this anime after episode 1. Don't even ask me why. The magical girl, I'm not even gonna say anything about it. Atri, nothing to say about it. VTuber, memory can go for it. But when it comes to the love Indivisible by Twin, I'll be back. So I need to make lunch. I'm hungry right now.
Okay. Memory, are you watching Senpai no Otokonoko?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So at first I kind of liked this one. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked it initially, especially how it was kind of handling the especially how it was handling the obviously the situation with the characters. And like how his friends, Makoto's friends just like accepted him. Like they do just in general accept him for who he is, but they like kind of established that really early in the beginning. So I like that aspect of it, and just how they were handling Makoto, and obviously how he likes to cross dress and all that. But I don't know, as the episodes have been going along, I don't know. I feel like it's doing the typical like rom-com trope shenanigans that I just am not really a fan of.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, I feel like what was the episode? The episode I watched today where the like Ryuji, like they're with the Ryuji and how like he. Now I get, because his mind, he's like, okay, it's weird, like I can't have feelings for him or whatever. We've got that from the show, but just like, I don't know, the character's not really being like vocal about how they feel. I get it, they're young, they're teenagers, but this is just the thing with like every, like not every, but majority of rom-coms, like the characters just won't say how they feel. And it just always bugs me, because like the show will like drag it out, or they'll you know, they'll have some drama for episodes on end, and which how with how the episode ended, there may be potential that Ryuji actually says how he feels.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, because you know, I would be pissed. I would be like, okay, here we go again. If he tries to like cover it up or say like, oh, like tries to come up with some excuse, right? I really hope he just says what it is, how he feels. But probably won't happen. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't know. That's kind of starting to kick in for me. You know, things like that, I'm just not really a fan of personally, and just dragging out, especially like the drama and the characters just won't say how they feel and things of that nature. I don't know. I there's only so long, especially nowadays, I feel like, that I could take stuff like that. I still would say overall, I do enjoy this series. I think the stuff with the mom and is kind of like, I remember I was like laughing the episode that the mom was sitting at the table.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the mom was sitting at the table, like it's all dark in the room, and like the handkerchief or whatever is on the table, and she's just sitting there at the table. Like, I'm like, bro, right?
Like, woman's acting like she found her son's drug stash or something.
Right, or found like a dead body in his room or something. Like, geez, like, it just like, don't tell me you've been dressing up like a girl again or acting like a girl again. I'm just like,
a pink handkerchief? How dare you?
Yeah, I do like the fact that like the author is kind of like, you know, we've saw a series like this before, but like the author kind of tackling this is, in a more like, I would say more realistic-ish, you know, scenario. It's not really. Like, yeah, there are some typical, like, anime, like, exaggerated, you know, things going on. But I feel like for the most part, this is pretty pretty grounded how they're kind of handling Makoto and him cross-dressing and how that's kind of the life that he essentially wants to live. And if that's what he wants to do, then by all means, right? Like, and I think that's what his friends, the people around him, they accept him for who he is. Now, society, your parents, based on how your parents might have been raised and how they were taught, and like, there's society, what society tells you is like, which I feel like nowadays society is definitely more like accepting, like it's more of like the norm. I feel like back when I was in high school, people were like, hell no. Like society was like, what are you doing? And that was like I was in high school, like 8-9 years ago at this point, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, for me, it's 9 years ago.
Yeah, like back when I was in high school, like this kind of stuff, like, something like what Makoto does, people would be like, what the hell are you doing? But like now it's just like different. It's interesting to see how society has kind of changed in terms of that, and just in terms of a lot of other things as well. But my philosophy has been like, if the person's not bothering me, like let the person do whatever the hell they want, right? If they're not bothering anybody else, like, which most of the people that do cross dress or whatever they do, most of them aren't bothering anybody. So like that's always been my philosophy, is just like let people do whatever the hell they want. Like they're not bothering you, they're not affecting you, they're not bothering or affecting the other people around them. That's
it's like if they're not hurting anybody, or if they're not doing anything illegal, like why make a big fuss about it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like with Saki and Ryuji, like they just accept their friend for who he is. Right. So I do like that part of it. There are parts of the show I do like, but I feel like it is kind of falling into that, or I guess I'm worried because I feel like it is kind of starting to fall into that, and I'm kind of worried that they're gonna like drag it out, or like there's gonna be like the melodrama and just things like that. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm worried about right now, but but I guess we'll see. But so far, this has been. I don't even think this was one I wasn't really even like. I don't even think I had it on my plan to watch at the beginning of the season. Even when I made my list, I don't think I had it on my plan to watch. And when the season came out, I'm gonna be honest, I'll see like a bunch of the first episodes drop, and I'll just like it's kind of like throwing darts for some of the ones. I'm just like, okay, whatever, this came out, I'll check it out. I'll be in a group call with a bunch of friends. They're like, okay, let's check this out. We watched it. And it's like, okay, this was actually pretty good. And then I kept watching it. It's solid. I'm gonna be honest, it's solid. Like I didn't have really any expectations. So to come out of it so far, I would say with that, I think I mentioned for the other one, like I'm not gonna sit here and say like this is one of my favorite anime of the season, because it's not. Probably nowhere close, but it's solid. It's solid so far. I'm just worried though. Depending on how the second half goes. We'll see. It might fall off for me a bit, but that for right now, I would say it's been solid.
I'm just curious, like, who do you often watch? Like, which friends do you watch anime with? Is it like Miles and Aaron, or?
Yeah, I watch like with Miles, and there's some other people in my server. Like, I don't know if you know them, like Neko, Gremin.
I've seen them around. I've seen Neko.
Yeah.
Around.
Yeah, Neko, Gremin, Miles. There's some other people that sometimes come through. It just really depends.
Yeah, for me, this is another show that I'm actually really enjoying. Now, first of all, Makoto, I do think he's like, oh, dare I say, I do think he's cute. Oh, like when he like puts on like the like wig and wears feminine clothes and all of that. Also like Aoi and Ryuji as well. I like how I love the friendship they have together. I love how accepting they are of Makoto's cross dressing and all that. Also like Makoto's dad as well, and how supportive he is. Although I do wish like he could do more when it comes to like talking some sense about Makoto's mom.
Yeah.
And here's the thing when it comes to Makoto's mom, right? Like, yes, while her reaction to the handkerchief is like completely heavily exaggerated, and all that, and she's just overall just a very hateful human being. However, her disapproval, her utter despise of her son's cross-dressing habits and like her son getting into like feminine stuff, it's not too far from reality because because while
there's probably a lot of parents
because like while society today is very accepting of like a lot of things now, then like while we have made progress as a society and become more accepting of things as we were in the past, there's still a lot of like
older people.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people out there, like a lot of like conservative parents out there who are still very into like gender norms, and like they're still not accepting of like cross-dressing or like trans and all that. So, and we see that it's not just a Japan thing. It's a thing with with people all across the world. Especially in the US. You know, they're very much into like the old way of things, and like gender norms of how, boys, they only need to have they only need to wear masculine things. Girls, they only need to wear feminine things. So, and there's it's not just like a disapproval of it. It's still like we see sometimes, like oftentimes in fact, just a blind hatred for these things.
Like disown your kid.
Exactly.
And see, like there's not like, I feel like, okay, if a parent say like, okay, their kid came out and said like, okay, they wanted to identify as the opposite sex or whatever the case, or identify as whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as the parent, like they could okay, say they don't agree or disapprove of it, and I feel like that's fine, right? Mm-hmm. Like especially if they're grown or whatever, like at that point it's like, okay, go ahead, like I don't think that's a good idea or I disapprove of it. You can go ahead and do whatever you want, though. I think there's a line that is crossed with certain parents where they act like it's like they committed a murder, or they like disown them, or like hatred, like you mentioned, like things of that nature. I feel like there's a line that certain people like cross when it comes to it, because like you don't have to like agree with whatever a person is like doing, but to like sit there and act a certain way or disown them, or like just I don't know, just I feel like a thing with parents is like should always have like unconditional love for your children, right? So I don't know, I feel like there's a certain line, especially depending on the age, because like mentally that could play a huge toll on the whoever the person may be.
Yeah,
because they what do they say, your mind is not really fully developed until like you're 24, 25, something like that, apparently. So like if you're around that age, 16, 17, 18, whatever, even 18, like, and you know, go to your parents and you say like, oh, I want to identify as this, or dress like a girl, dress like a boy, whatever, and they cross that line, like that could take a huge mental toll on the person for sure.
And the thing is that
but also to play devil's advocate though, it's like a lot of these parents were their parents when they grew up. It was old school, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's ingrained into them. Like when they're younger, like when they're 16, 17, 18, like you do this, you do that, like you live this way. It's ingrained in them for however many years. Mm-hmm. So to be fair, it's like, okay, they've been raised a certain way for so long, which a lot of kids now are being raised in a more accepting world or society. So, you know, to kind of play devil's advocate, I feel like still there's a line that you shouldn't really cross when it comes to a parent, no matter like I mentioned before. But still, I do kind of see in a way like a lot of people have been raised a certain way from like back then. That is way different than how probably a lot of kids are getting raised now.
Oh yeah.
So It brings up an interesting discussion.
Oh
this
yeah,
series, though,
yeah. This series,
sure.
yeah, this brings up a lot of interesting stuff. And now the reason why I say I want to roast Ryu on this is because he says like one of the main complaints he has with the show is that there's no nuance when it comes to the series. Now, and I'm struggling to understand what exactly he meant by that because first of all, like how often do you see like kind of a bit of a love triangle between like a guy falling for another guy, but then also this girl that kind of fell for the same guy because he was cross-dressing and all that. Like how often do you see that in anime or that type of like love triangle type of dynamic? And I do think like, and I like the way it handles like our cross-dressing main protagonist because it's not played off in like a fetish type of way. It's not like they're trying to make him like like the
sexualized.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he does, like he crosses because he just likes to do it, and I like how they handle, and I like how they handle it. Like the cross-dressing is not just a gimmick; it's who he is as a person, and I really do think like it handles like the cross-dressing aspect in like a very, also not just the cross-dressing, but like you can tell like we've seen like you can tell like in the last few episodes recently that Makoto is starting to have questions when it comes to his own like gender in a way because he's not really sure. We've seen a conflict stirring inside him that he's not really sure if he's a boy or like if he wants to identify as a boy or a girl and all of that. And I think that's very interesting too because like when you're a teenager, you don't have like you're still very young. Like you don't have the whole world figured out. You don't have anything figured out quite yet. So, and that's what Makoto is. He's just a teenager, and yes, while he does like cross-dressing as a girl, he doesn't know when like if he wants to identify fully as a girl and wants to go full trans, or if he just still wants to be a boy. So yeah, I think they handled that very well in my opinion. And also, one thing I really like about the show is that like his mom, as far as we can tell, Makoto's mom, as far as we can tell, is the only person that views his cross-dressing as a negative. Everyone else, like not just Aoi and Ryuji, but like his classmates as well, like they seem very accepting of Makoto. Like at first they didn't really fully understand it. It seemed like they didn't know how to approach Makoto because of his cross-dressing and all that. But over time, it's so nice that they don't see him as like some type of weirdo or some type like a different person or like some different species. They see him as just one of them. They see him as like a classmate or like a friend. So, and like they seem very accepting of him, and I just really like that. I've said this like back when we were talking about the Hashira training arc for Demon Slayer, and I'll say it again. We have proof here that the main character doesn't need to be like bullied or like be treated badly by his peers in order to make the story interesting or entertaining. Like you could have him be accepted by his peers and still make an entertaining story, and we see that in this show as well. And I say that because like far too often we see that. Like it's becoming like a common trope in anime. Like that main character, he gets bullied and gets mistreated a lot by his peers, and he wants to rise up through all that adversity. Like we see that time and time again. So yeah, I do think it's a nice change of pace from that. And also just in general, like one thing I really like one of the main things I like about this series is like how often do we see cross-dressing being handled in such a mature like way, like having this much focus on like a cross-dressing main protagonist. Like I can't think of many anime like this, like Senpai is in Otokonoko. Because I feel like before, most of the time we see a feminine-looking boy or cross-dressing, or like trap, if you will, as a gimmick, or some type of like just like weeb Coomer bait. So yeah, it's nice to see it handled in such a mature way. As for downsides I have with this show, the comedy, it doesn't. I understand why people might not like the comedy. It doesn't really. I mean, like a lot of comedy in anime, it doesn't really hit. It's not going to hit 100% of the time. Also, yeah, the way it often switches to the chibi type of art style. That is something that's very noticeable in this series, and I think it is something that some people have a problem with. Me personally, yeah, it does do it like a little too often, but I wouldn't say it's like a real significant downside when it comes to this series. Also, one thing I like about this series, a lot of people find Saki, like I think even Mad Lad says himself, he finds Aoi annoying. And while I do get why people would find her annoying, I just can't help but like her. Like, I'm normally not a fan of her type of character, but considering the fact that she has her own conflict going on, and considering the fact that she's still unsure if she actually likes Makoto in a romantic type of way, I think that's very interesting. And also, I like how supportive she is of Makoto's. Like, she was literally the first person in the series that we've seen that has been supportive from day one of Makoto's cross-dressing. And I really like that about her. Like, yeah, you could say how she's annoying and she has a high-pitched voice and all that, and she's very energetic and all that, but there's no design of how supportive she is and how much of a good friend she is to Makoto. I really like that about her. Also, yeah, both her and Ryuji, they both have their own conflict going on. Like the main three characters, Makoto, Aoi, and Ryuji, they all have their own conflict going on, and I think that just makes them very interesting as characters. And with Ryuji's conflict, we see that he's starting to develop feelings for Makoto, but he's not sure how to express them. Now, yeah, I know that's gonna be I understand why you would have a problem with it, but there's something to keep in mind. Like, how do you confess to your friend, your childhood friend who is of the same sex that you have, that you may have romantic feelings for him? Like, that's not as a dude, I can't imagine that being very easy for people. I feel like it's much because it's natural. It's natural to develop feelings for the opposite sex, or a friend of the opposite sex, but a friend of the same gender. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, of course, but it's definitely out of the norm when it comes to especially dudes. So yeah, I understand. I guess I would like it if they got to the point sooner. If Ryuji just outright said it and confessed his feelings to Makoto, I think that would be very nice. But I do understand his conflict in that regard. Because I don't think he fully understands his feelings as well just yet. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing how that develops. But yeah, other than that, Senpai is in Otokonoko. I guess I can understand why people might not like it, but this is just a really the amount of interesting aspects in this show. I really do think that's what really makes the show enjoyable for me, and what makes me put the show in such high regard. So yeah, other than that, I think, Memory, are we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's say so.
All right, next up on the list is Magical Girl and the Evil Lieutenant. Are you watching this?
Yeah, it's a short, so it's not really the episodes are 10 minutes long or something like that.
About 12 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. I'm really just watching this for Byakuya, honestly, because she's just so cute. She's so adorable. I love her
yeah.
voice actress too. And obviously, like the anime looks really good. Studio Bones. The OP for this might be one of my favorite OPs of the season too. Yeah, I love the OP for this. For this one, I feel like it's. I don't know. I feel like some of it's a little repetitive, especially like the reactions that the main guy has. What's his? I'm just used to her always. Yeah, I'm just always used to her calling him Sambo-san or whatever she says. It does get a little repetitive, some of like his reactions to her and whatnot. So I could see maybe if people had an issue with that. I think this is pretty cute though. It's nothing to write home about, but I enjoy it. Nice little watch, 10-12 minute episodes or whatever. I'm curious because I think the author of this series actually passed away.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. So they'll probably be able to adapt the whole. I think it's like 22 chapters or something like that. The manga, they should be able to adapt the whole thing. So I'm curious how it's gonna leave off, especially now that we've had like the new magical girl introduced and things of that nature. I'm curious how. Curious on how that's all going to play out. But and if there will be any actual like progression, if it'll actually go somewhere with Mira and Byakuya, because obviously they feel some type of way about each other. But yeah, I feel like I don't know, they as well, they also make it pretty apparent with Byakuya that like. I don't know. It's pretty lewd sometimes.
It's surprisingly lewd.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. I guess there's been a lot of certain shots in the episode. I think even in the one episode they had her like tied up or whatever,
yeah,
or, like restrained. I was like, what the hell? But hey, I cannot blame Mira for being really head over heels and his glasses breaking and shit like that. The classic trope. But yeah, this one's cute. I don't really have much to say about it. I feel like the story is not really anything too complex or anything really much to dive too deep into, but we'll see how it plays out with like the evil organization, the new magical girl, and things of that nature. But all I really care about, honestly, is Mira and Byakuya. Well, mostly Byakuya, but if it does end up going somewhere with Mira and Byakuya, then I would be happy. So,
yeah. For me, I pretty much agree. Like, this is just it's just a cute rom-com type of show. Although I would probably put this maybe slightly higher than Giji Harem. And yeah, for me, it's because I really like the chemistry between Byakuya and Mira. I think everything like Byakuya is just really adorable, and they have some really adorable chemistry. Also, oh my god, what is it with summer season? Just like these gorgeous, beautiful looking shows.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. This one, Makeine, Shoshimin,
Days with My Stepsister.
Days with My Stepsister, Alya.
Like what are they cooking in Japan? Like, good lord. Yeah, this show is just beautiful. Studio Bones really did a phenomenal job with the visuals in this show. Also, it's 12 minutes long. It's 12 minutes. Very short and sweet. I think that's just, and I feel like that's one of the things that, while it is feeling pretty repetitive, I feel like that's one of the things that keeps the show from being even more repetitive, because it's adopted from a 4-comma manga. And that's usually, I feel like 4-comma manga adaptations, they're oftentimes they run at risk of becoming and feeling too repetitive. So I do think, I know there are some people that complain that it's too short. The episodes are too short. But in my opinion, I feel like 12-minute episodes are fine. I think they're fine considering the source material that it's adapting, which is a 4-column manga. So yeah, while maybe longer episodes would have been preferable, I don't really have much of a problem with 12-minute episodes. I think, yeah, there's really not much I can say for this either. I think the main drawback I have with this show is that it feels too one-sided so far. Because it's most of the time it's just Mira showing
Mira
the effect.
simping.
Yeah, Mira simping for Byakuya. And we don't see much of the other way around. I mean, yeah, I think we do see some hints.
She'll have certain like reactions,
Yeah.
or like where you could tell like, oh, she does, but in terms of her actually like saying things, I guess it's like she's just more like wholesome. She kind of is like innocent, I guess, in a way.
And it's mostly just Mira doing the heavy lifting. I would prefer if we do see some more development on her end, like she starts to understand Mira's feelings for her and she starts to reciprocate them. I hope we get to see that soon. Also, one thing I forgot to bring up in my pros is that lately in the last episode, as of the time that we're recording this, it is revealed that Byakuya is not the only magical girl, and the cat isn't the only magical girl mascot, as we saw the bird boy and that one girl voiced by Maria Issei, who it doesn't really exactly fit the traditional definition of a magical girl.
Fuck.
Yeah, she curses in English. And she beats up enemies with brass knuckles.
That was a bit unexpected. That was
unexpected.
The transformation for her was really cool too.
Oh yeah,
but
it
just
was
like
really good.
yeah, just like Byakuya's transformation, like when we first saw it, like that's one thing they have down is the transformations for that,
Yeah,
which is like important, obviously, when it comes to Magical Girl series.
Exactly.
Like you gotta get the transformations down. Like
one of the most important things is the transformation sequences. But yeah, other than that, like I said, Magical Girl and the Evil Lieutenant, it's just a really cute show, and I'm really enjoying this. I definitely feel like there's more subtlety when it comes to the show. I mean, yeah, it's obvious that Mira is head over heels for Byakuya, but I feel like it's done slightly better than Giji Harem. Like the romantic chemistry they have, like the cute, wholesome themes of the show. I feel like I enjoy this more than Giji Harem. But yeah, really cute show. Really short show. At 12 minutes episodes. And I still wish that we see some romantic reciprocation from Byakuya's end. And yeah. I'm looking forward to watching more. All right. Other than that, next up on the list, Atri, My Dear Moments. Now, I know this is another show that you are falling behind on.
yeah, and I don't really have much to say on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
understandable. But what would you say from what you actually have watched from the show?
I find the setting pretty intriguing, honestly. Like what has happened to the like civilization and all that. Like a lot of civilizations like underwater. And there is kind of like, I guess there's kind of like a little mystery aspect there. Is this a key visual novel? I don't know if this is based off. I don't remember.
It is a visual novel adaptation.
I don't think it's key though. Yeah, I don't think it's key. So yeah, it does kind of have that you could probably pretty much tell, like I feel like even if you didn't know it was based off a visual novel, you could tell. I feel like it's just one of those, like I'm just waiting for this to like be some like devastating or like sad ending where something happens to Atri or something like that. I feel like that's what'll end up happening.
It probably.
I'll not be surprised. But yeah, I've only watched like 4 episodes, so I mean, I don't even remember the what happened in the last episode that I left off on, to be honest. I think they might have been leaving on the boat or something, or they were in a submarine or a boat or something like that, maybe, and I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, I should remember too, since I was binge watching this show like earlier today. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I gotta catch up, and I'll probably have more to say on it, unless I like end up dropping it. Which, from what I've watched so far, I don't really have that thought yet. But well, I would say yet, but who knows? But yeah, I would say the most interesting thing about this so far, I guess, is like the mystery surrounding Atri, and then obviously what has happened to kind of the world that they live in, where a lot of like cities and there's like things underwater that have been like swallowed by the, essentially. So, yeah, I don't have much else to say. I didn't have really much to say from the beginning, but
Understandable.
yeah.
For me, now at first I was worried about this, getting into the show because it's a visual novel adaptation, and usually visual novel adaptations, they don't exactly have the best track record. Like even visual adaptations that I liked, like the Grisaya series. Like I got into the entire Grisaya series because of the anime adaptations. But I remember like looking back at that show, watching the Fruit of Grisaya a second time. It was rushed to hell, and oh my god, like it's I wonder like what they were thinking when it comes to some of the decisions they made when it came to that adaptation. But going back to Atri, yeah, at first I was worried about the show, but so far, I would say I'm enjoying this, but it's not doing much for me. I mean, I like. First of all, I want to say, I like the main character. Now, it's funny because the thing is with visual novel adaptations is that while they're very hit or miss, to say the least, one thing I feel like is a constant when it comes to like visual novels I've played and visual novel adaptations I've seen is that I really end up liking the main male protagonists. Like they have like they a lot of them, they're very quippy. Like they have like a great sense of humor. Like some of the shit that they say, like I just find absolutely hilarious. But at the same time, they're also they also have their like cool moments. Like they a lot of them, they're strong. They're very interesting, and a lot of them are very smart and intelligent as well. So and the main character of this show, oh my gosh, I should know his fucking name, but it escapes me at the heat of the moment. God, I'm actually gonna have to look it up. Oh my god, God, I should know his name. I'm actually gonna have to look up his name. Natsuki. There we go. Yeah, Natsuki.
There we go.
Natsuki is no exception. But yeah, I'm also liking the mystery surrounding like the world as well. Like the premise is very interesting. Like it takes place after like basically an apocalypse where the whole world is submerged underwater. The whole world is flooded, and like there's not much land left. So and like the survivors are just doing what they can just to get by, and I find that very interesting as well. Also, I like some of the characters as well. Although I'm gonna be honest, like Atri, I wanna like her. I wanna find her cute. She does have her cute moments, but most of the time, I find her kind of annoying.
That's valid.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, I'm enjoying this so far. I think the main, but yeah, I'm enjoying this so far. But yeah, it's just not doing much for me. aside from like the intriguing mystery and some of the characters. Now, I will say though that I'm not gonna spoil the latest episode, but I will say that the latest episode reveals something very interesting. There was a big reveal that happened in the latest episode, so I'm definitely wondering where that's gonna lead to. So yeah, that I got that to keep me watching at least. And I know one thing I'm concerned about is that with some visual novel adaptations I've seen, it starts off simple, but then as it progresses, it starts to get into like very confusing territory. And luckily that hasn't happened with this show yet. But I'm wondering, I just can't help but wonder if that show's gonna go down that route. I cannot imagine it going down that route, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Because there is still a lot of mysteries surrounding Atri, her origins, what her main directive is supposed to be, like what her grandmother ordered her to do, why she was kept in that capsule for so long. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, Atri, my dear moments, so far pretty good, pretty decent. I'm not sure if I wouldn't exactly put it like, I wouldn't exactly rank it highly so far. But I would just have to see more when it comes to this show. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can say for the show. And I think we can move on now. Next up on the list is a show that I am not watching. I'm actually not watching, despite me being somewhat into VTubers, although I wouldn't say I'm not as much of a VTuber fan. I'm not too crazy about it as I was previously. But yeah, Vtuber Legend. Remember, I know you're watching this show, so
yeah. So funny enough, I am not into VTubers really at all, but I've been having a blast with this series. It's just so unhinged. It's really unhinged. It also deals with like content creation, like even outside of like VTubing, it deals with like streaming and content creation just in general, which I obviously can latch on to, kind of connect to. Also, a lot of cool references, like there's High School DxD references they're throwing in here and like other kinds of references. So I love seeing stuff like that. But there's not too much to say on this. It's just kind of what you would expect with VTubers. Like if you know VTubers and you know what they do and how they have like their groups or whatever, their gen mates and things of that nature, and how they kind of like collab, how they go about collabing and the kind of content that they do. It's this one though, like some of the content that some of the creators do is really out there. Like it's unhinged for sure. Like they're like like they'll be like, especially the main girl, like she like is saying some outrageous stuff about like gooning to other girls that that are other VTubers, and like cussing all the time, and just it's just so unhinged, and I really like it for that, to be honest. So yeah, this one has been a lot of fun for me. I've had a lot of laughs from it, so that's all I could really ask for, because it's primarily a comedy. So so yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this one, but if you're looking, because I feel like this is one a lot of people aren't really talking about. So if you're looking for, maybe one of the other comedies like Nokotan, or some of the other comedies aren't really hitting for you this season, I would try this one out, especially if you like, not even VTubers. I feel like you don't even have to like VTubers, right? But if you do, that's like a plus. But like if you are interested in like content creation, streaming, things of that nature, I would say this is like pretty accurate on like how like dealing with comments and interacting with your chat and things of that nature. It's actually really neat in that regard. But then it's also just hilarious because the characters are just unhinged. They're crazy. A lot of them are crazy, and they do some, like, they're good looking too, so that helps. But like, they do some crazy stuff, and I just think it's a blast so far. Been pleasantly surprised with this one. Like this is probably one of the bigger surprises for me because I don't know. I looked at this and I'm like, okay, I don't give a shit really about VTubers. Like, no offense, but I just never have really got the appeal. I've never got into them. But then I watched this and I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. Like the first episode just hooked me because the main girl, she's streaming. She falls asleep. She leaves her stream on, or she gets so drunk she doesn't fall asleep, but she actually did end up falling asleep. But she was so drunk she forgot to like turn off her stream, and then you saw her for who she really is essentially. And a lot of people are like, okay, like we want you to be like that, like we want you to be the real you. And then from that point on, she's like, okay, she took that and ran with it, and it ended up working out in her favor. Like she blew up and is getting a lot more viewers and engagement and things of that nature, collabs. So it kind of sold me from the first episode. I've been following it since, obviously, and been having a lot of fun with this one. So that would be all I would say about it. Try it out if you haven't yet and you're looking for a comedy. So,
Memory, how does it feel seeing your waifu Ria Scrimori in another anime after all these years?
It was sweet. It was great. Was surprised, but then it's like, okay, it's the same studio, so it's like, okay, well, it kind of makes more sense. So
now I'm not watching this, but what I will say is that one fun fact that I learned about this show is that a few years back, like even before the anime adaptation was probably announced, the VTuber girl actually did a collab with real life VTuber Hosho Mari. Like she's an actual VTuber, and I think Sakura Ayane actually, like, she was actually in character during that collab, like to promote the light novel, like the source material. Now,
oh wow,
yeah. So I don't now. Admittedly, I actually haven't watched the stream, or I actually haven't watched the video itself. But that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard, at least. So yeah,
that's actually really sweet. I didn't know that.
That's actually really interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much all I could say about Vtuber Legend, a show that I'm actually not watching. So next up on the list, oh god.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't watched.
I'm back.
You're back. Just in time to talk about some absolute garbage.
Oh my god, where do I begin with this? Love is Indivisible by Twins. One of the cringiest, stupidest love triangle I've seen for so long, man. So, the general idea I had for this anime is that the twins are, well, obviously, this is going to be a love story. But who ever thought that this anime would turn to one of the stupidest, one of the unparalleling, crazy roller coaster ride we have in a romantic rom-com series we have. But it's not even a rom-com, it's just rom cringe in this case now, because like, bro. So, let me get it straight. What that dude's name, I forgot. That goes to show you how much I hate him. So he dates June. Yeah, his name is June. Dates one of the twin. Well, one of the twin asked him out so that she can fulfill her desire to date him. Then she decided to break up with him because she feels sorry for her sister. And then his sister found out about it, and she said, "You know what? I would take advantage of it. You know what? This doesn't feel right. Oh, you know what, June? Let's not date, and this is start from scratch again as friends. You know what? Oh yeah, can you go with my sister again? Because she's still sad about it." And June, not gonna lie, that guy is horny as fuck that he doesn't even know how to deal with this relationship feeling he has, because he's still unsure whether or not to like move on from his relationship from the short hair twin. I'm not gonna say her name, by the way, because you get too confusing. So I'm just gonna call her short hair and long twin tail sister. But yeah, let's just say June, man, that boy, he is just so frustrating to watch sometimes, because like he literally just wants to have just a proper relationship, and then he just say, oh my god, I don't know, man. I just can't move on from your first sister that asked me out. Oh my god, I want to go out with you, but you just a bit too, how do I put this though? A bit too much for me to really handle. I was saying this case because she keep on being very fatigued about her body. Like, here's some big boobie for you. Here's some nice underwear shot for you. I was like, there's a reason why I can't even ship you at all, because you're just being a bit too overly aggressive while you're just trying to take advantage of June vulnerable puberty stage, and June is just being a very adolescent boy that is trying to figure out how to properly handle this, but which he's not doing a good job right now. But of course, those two systems shake on it, and they decide to like say, you know what, let's just see who June falls for. Let's just stop and scratch again. And then it just really plateaued from there. Like the first 5 episodes was just all over the place, to be honest. Like June go out with this girl, go out with this twin, and then this twin want to do this twin feels sorry about her, this twin feels sorry about her, and then it's just so all over the place. And I just like, when I was watching, I was like, oh man, this is definitely what I call popcorn entertainment, all right. But yeah, I'm still watching this. I just want to see who June ends up being with. But trust me, this love triangle is really frustrating, but yet such a popcorn entertainment, I would say in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching the fire burn.
Remember, you watching this?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, I think the last episode I watched was episode 4. I'm not caught up with this show, and frankly, I don't know if I want to catch up with this show. In fact, I'm actually thinking about, I think I might just drop it, because, yeah, oh god, the love triangle in this show is abysmal. And really, I think, and it really just all started off with Rumi. Because, I mean, because she's pretty much one of the main reasons why everything went so wrong in the first place. Because she had this like guilt, like, oh no, I can't date June because my sister is in love with him, so I gotta break up because of my guilt. And then like. And now
at that moment, I know the series go downhill.
Yeah.
That very moment, the series just went downhill for me. So.
And then now June is actually dating Naori, or that's what it looks like on the surface. And now it seems like Rui might go back to, oh no, I actually still have feelings for June. Like, oh my god. And then Naori, oh my gosh, Naori's probably, I want to say Naori's like the best thing about this show. I actually do, like, I really think she, like, I love how nerdy she is, and like, and of course she's voiced by the wonderful Maya Uchida. I like her so much more than Rumi, but I don't think even she's enough to keep this show going for me, because she's really just caught up in like this stupid like love triangle between her and like Rumi and then Junta, and Junta is just not doing much favors either. Like he's not making the situation better. So yeah, I mean, like the drama in the show is just it's just not for me. I don't like it. But yeah, other than that, Love and Indivisible are twins. I can't even put into words how much I just generally do not enjoy this show. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna drop it because I really just cannot bring myself. I really just don't think I have the motivation to continue watching.
Just go on AniList and look at the series, and you see the top recommendations. If you like this series, you'll like School Days, you'll like Domestic Girlfriend,
Yes.
you'll like Kiss X Sis. Yeah, I mean that's all you probably have to know. Yeah, right?
I know a common take I've seen in the Reddit discussion threads is that I'm rooting for no one. I wish the worst for all the characters in this show. And you know what?
You know what made this worse? if June actually have sex with one of the sister and the sister saw them having sex and then she just
Oh geez, some NTR.
and then
Don't even.
and then she dragged June out and then she dragged June one day to her room and forced him to have sex with her. I was like, oh,
Don't even.
if that.
Man, like, don't even wish that into existence. Holy shit.
Dude, I can somehow can see that happening for the series.
I should bonk you for even entertaining that possibility.
Well, why not? I mean, add some spice, add some fire to the fuel. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, eventually June will start to reach his limit with this sort of like very dilemmic situation, and he will just start to make a move on one of the sisters, and I won't be surprised if he starts smashing one of them already. So,
Lord.
Yeah, like I said, June is what I call a horny teenager in love. So.
But if you're looking for some good love triangle romantic development, this is not
School
it.
Days. Watch School Days if you want some. Dude, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm still watching this just to enjoy the firecracker. So
just to watch the trash fire, the train wreck.
Yeah, just watch it to see how much further this anime will go in this so complicated love triangle. At this point, it's just popcorn entertainment now. But yeah, go enjoy what you have, man.
You know, you guys know that one meme where they do it's all like, where he's screaming at the cat and he's all like, I'm gonna get you out of there. I promise you, I'm gonna get you out of there. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
That's how I feel towards Naori. I truly feel like she should be put. I truly feel like Naori and Mayo-Chia deserve better. They deserve a better show. But yeah, other than that, I think we're ready to move on now. Next up on the list is okay. I think the next three I am actually not watching.
I dropped this next one.
I'm not gonna lie though. I'm just gonna
the MC. The main
finish.
guy for My Wife Has No Emotion is so bad.
I'm not gonna lie though. I think I just gonna have one last say to this before we end the podcast because the rest of the anime. After that, I just have nothing really to say. I don't even know why you want to put Senkoku Yoko season 2 in the list.
I think probably for Ryu.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know you. I thought you guys were like you guys watched season 1, so that's why
I watched season 1.
It.
Yeah, I'm still watching season 2.
I dropped it.
Ryu probably would have more to say about it.
I dropped it after episode 5 because I just don't even like the concept of the story. But yeah, going back to the dating robot anime, even I starting to really feel like I want to drop this now because one, the protag. Oh my god,
the main guy is terrible. Yeah,
he frustrates the shit out of me, man. Oh my, dude, if you're that horny for a robot, then you're basically a weirdo. So, right, but he embraces that. He embraces that, and that what really frustrates me. She's just like, oh my god, you're so beautiful, you're so hot. I want to sleep, I want to kiss you, dude. It's so
the dude is like so down bad. It's so
dude, and make us weebs look bad too because people think that weebs are like that, like liking 2D characters. So I was like, no, we have a limit. Yes, I cherish my waifus and stuff, but not to that extent. So, well, to be honest though, some people on Twitter said that this anime is literally promoting us to find robots as wives.
It's like this is the future.
This is the
AI
future.
revolution is upon us, and this is what it looks like.
Dude, I dropped it after like episode 2 or 3 because the dude was just kept having like these like
fantasies.
Yeah, these moments where like she was like, I think they were getting rained on, like in episode 2, they were getting like rained on, and he like brought her over to like a bench or something like that, and when he was like blushing and shit, and he's like, "Is it okay if I wipe off your torso?" And he's like taking a rag and like acting like he's wiping her off. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me, man? And he's like blushing and shit. I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Like seriously, this anime at this point, I think he's trying to promote us to get a robot and fuck them.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not watching this show for two reasons. One is the art style. Just from the key visuals, I was like, what the hell is this? And then second of all, I don't understand. I guess there's a lot of people that like emotionless girls, because I honestly don't understand the appeal.
Thank you.
I don't understand the appeal of it. There's an okay. Oh god, I like. There's an entire tag on Hentai dedicated to emotionless sex, and I'm like, I see it and I just don't understand the appeal. I wonder, are there really people into this? And I think you guys would be surprised by how much work
some for
is
everyone
under that tag. Yeah. Emotionless sex. Who wants
memory? You're not up to date with the. You dropped this, so I can say this. Even the sister, she has a sister, by the way. The sister actually supports this relationship. When the sister found out about this relationship he's having with his robot mate, her reaction was just so not humane, I would say. So that's why I would say this show is starting to lose me now. I mean, I'm giving it one more episode, and if that episode just keeps on repeating this stupid gag, I'm just saying fuck this shit. I'm giving it a 1. I'm dropping it. So
okay. Now you got me confused. Is she actually a robot, or is she just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she is a robot.
She's actually a robot.
Oh, she's literally okay. I thought she was just a girl who just doesn't show.
No, she's literally a robot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I mean, I know there's someone in Japan that already bought a fucking Hatsune Miku robot and married her already.
I heard about that.
And I think the author was basing off that. I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me now."
See, I know Anipo likes this show, so that's why I was hoping he would get on this podcast.
Anipo liked weird things. Like I said, Anipo is so weird, to be honest. He's weirder than me.
Well, we all like different things at the end of the day, so it is what it is.
Maybe because he's single, he's 30, so that's why.
Aren't we all single?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately,
I'm not 30 though. Woo.
We're not 30. Yeah, we're not 30. We're not 30 yet.
It's creeping up on me.
I am 2 years away to 30, and I'm not happy about that.
Yeah,
so
creeping up on me.
Oh well, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
All right, I think we can move on now. Next up on the list, Mayonaka Punch. This is another show that centers
funny enough,
content
though,
creation.
I think this. I'm not sure you guys saw the link I provided, but apparently, Power from Japan filmed the director.
Oh, I watched that video. That video was good.
Yeah, Kawaii, you should watch it. The Power from Japan.
It's like day in the life of an
anime director, and he's the director of this anime.
Anime.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't know.
I'll send you a link again. I
saw the video, but I saw the link, but I didn't know it was for this show.
Yeah, it's actually the director of this anime. So.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So yeah, he went through watching that makes me want to support his anime even more. So yeah, he tells us how hard is it to make one episode. Just one episode. They gone through all that for one episode. I was like, holy shit. We have to.
I think one of the things they said, they were like, for a couple seconds of animation or something, they were they spend a couple days or a week on. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They have the thing is they're discussing the storyboard. It's just a storyboard.
Yeah.
They're trying to. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, wow.
Yeah. And then the recording sessions are I think the director was saying sometimes he said usually they last 4 to 5 hours, but he said sometimes they could last from 8 to 10 hours.
Because they have to get it right. They
Yeah.
just have to get it right. So, because if they don't, then the BD won't sell. It's all about selling the Blu-rays in the end. So
yeah, I think people making an anime is a lot harder than I think a lot of people think.
You watch that video and it's like, holy shit.
Animation, because
now we have to understand why there's production delays and stuff because of all the processes in between.
Yeah, because the thing about 2D animation is that I took actually like back when I was in community college, I took like an animation class for a while where I actually made like a 4 second animation, like using like hand drawn paper and all of that. The amount like the stack of like paper that was dedicated to like keyframes and all that was probably like this thick, the stack, like just for 4 seconds of animation. So and it took me like probably like a few weeks to complete. So yeah, it's a lot of work to like. I can't imagine like the amount of work it takes to make a like 24-minute episode. So
Yeah.
so yeah, considering that it's probably understandable why sometimes they use CGI for why some studios use CGI. But yeah, what are you saying about Mayonaka Punch?
Anyways, Mayonaka Punch is just an anime about vampires wanting to be a YouTubers. and the struggle of thinking of content to produce. So I mean, funny enough, some of the stuff they do is just very relatable to YouTubers. Well, YouTuber that does not do anime reactions, of course, like how they have to think of some weird content to get the watch time, get people engaging with them and stuff like that. So it was very weirdly fun seeing how vampires trying to become YouTubers and how they trying to figure out some content, well, family friendly content to post on YouTube. So yeah, that's all I can say for this, and that's pretty much all I wanted to say about it, because I'm just gonna watch this and see what's the gaggy stuff they're gonna do next. And actually, the funny thing is, I think one of the episodes said demonetized. I was like, and the way they react, the way they react to it is like, yep, that is literally how us feel when our video got demonetized. So,
Remember, are you watching this?
I actually dropped it.
Oh,
yeah, I made it to episode 6, I believe. And yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really. It wasn't bad. It's just I feel like it wasn't grabbing me enough to where I wanted to like stay with it. Honestly, I don't really like. I don't really have many. I don't know. I don't know if I really have any issues with it. I just feel like it was something I was just like watching, and I didn't really feel much watching it. Like I didn't really have like a strong or like negative feeling. I just felt like I was there just watching it to watch it at a certain point. I was like, eh. And plus, I enjoy the VTuber one, and that's dealing with like content creation and stuff. So I was like, I got that. But
well, yeah. Either way.
And then I think they have some. The most recent episode, I was like, okay, they have some goal to get like 1 million or 2 million subscribers in like 30 days. I was like, what?
That's not
30
possible.
days.
30 days.
That's not possible.
30
That's
days
not
is it?
possible.
Yeah. I was like, what?
I really wish I could get 1 million subscribers.
But like, I mean, it looks nice. I mean, PA. I feel like all PA work stuff usually looks nice. So I mean,
I've been doing YouTube for 6 years and I haven't hit 50,000 yet. And they want 1 million in 30 days. Fuck off.
I haven't hit 2K yet, and I've had this new channel up for like ever since 2018.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest though, this anime is just fun just to watch, and that's all I can say for now.
Yeah.
And the next anime, I'm not even watching the next anime because I dropped it.
Yeah, for me, admittedly, I'm actually not caught up with this show. I only watched the first episode, admittedly. But from what I've seen, it's fine, I guess. I'm wondering what exactly was going on between the main girl and her old YouTuber group. Because, I mean, from what I've seen, it looked like I remember the main thing was that she punched one of the members of her old YouTuber group, and by looks of it, it seemed like she was the problematic one, like the main character. But of course, I don't know the full facts, so that could probably change. Maybe she had a reason to do it. That's kind of what I got from it, at least. Also, I find it funny, like they play off having 1 million subscribers as like this sort of big deal. Like it's the height of popularity. It means like, oh, like you're one of the most popular YouTubers in the world. It's like, yeah, that may have been the case 10 years ago. 1 million, but nowadays it's like, well, there's a lot of 1 million subscriber YouTube channels that I have never even heard of.
Oh yeah.
Like if I see a 1 million subscriber YouTuber in public, I probably wouldn't even recognize them. It's so.
I mean, to be honest, though, 1 million subscriber usually depends on the theme. Like if you are like a 1 million subscriber in cooking, then you go to cooking shows or anything cooking related, you recognize. If you are 1 million subscriber in anime content like Giga, the Anime Man, or C.VA, you go to cons and stuff, you recognize them. And so it basically just depends on the theme. But for Mr. Beast is for everyone. So everyone will recognize
Mr. Beast has far surpassed 1 million.
Yeah, like that's what people recognize him. And same goes for PewDiePie, because PewDiePie, he does stuff that is non-gaming related stuff anymore. So that's why people more so recognize him. But of course, you can say if you get 1 million subscribers, doesn't mean you're famous. You just say it just means you're famous in that area of content you're making.
I also found it kind of weird that so many people were recognizing her in public, because I think if I remember correctly, I don't think her original YouTube group or channel actually hit 1 million subscribers. So yeah, it's kind of, I still find it kind of weird that there's so many people were like just recognizing her in public. Like, hey, aren't you the girl that punched the one girl and caused the feud? And I'm like, okay, I guess she's.
I got recognized twice, twice for like in my life. So one in Anime Japan, and one where I was eating with Oliver, or having lunch with Oliver, and
yeah, that's still crazy to me.
I know. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
but still, though, like.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not possible, but like in the frequency that's played off in this and that show, I'm casting a little bit of doubt.
But anyway, so yeah, this anime is just about YouTubers, so that's about it, I guess. And yeah, that pretty much concludes this season, I guess, in this case.
All right. Well, actually, remember, you say you're watching Sengoku Yoko season 2, right?
Yeah, but I honestly don't. I don't really have anything to say about it.
You don't have much to say about it?
No.
All right. Well, other than that...
We can talk about Plus Size Elf.
Maybe not.
Fine.
I mean...
I really don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it.
Can I just say something? Spice and Wolf, the Spice and Wolf remake finally entered into the new arc that is not being adapted by
the original.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That's pretty crazy.
So I'm really excited for that tonight. So yep, Spice and Wolf finally moving away from the readaptation stuff and now onto the newer stuff. So I'm really excited for this now, and hopefully it gets people talking again, because Spice and Wolf, not gonna lie, it's no one's even talking about this anime at all.
Yeah.
So,
I've still been enjoying it. But nobody really has been talking about it.
But hopefully this new arc will spark some conversation around it now, since people will finally enter into the arc. Yeah.
Fresh content.
But yeah, hopefully it goes well. And wow, I can't believe it's August already, and we got one more month of this season, and then the fall season. Oh yeah, can we just quickly address the leaks and stuff like that? It's just no.
Oh yeah, with Netflix and all that.
Yeah, like so.
Oh
bad.
yeah,
that was crazy.
Like unbelievable. Like the whole
and then ReZero ended up leaking too, the first episode.
Well, you kind of expected that to happen from cons and stuff, so
yeah.
But the one thing that what really annoys me is that when you for as us anime reactors, when there's leaks, there will be people already watch the episode, and no matter what they say, we're not gonna watch it. They will watch it. They will watch it. It's just
even if it's in 360p.
Yeah. And the thing is that when people watch it already, the algorithm will be shit for us. Like when we put out content and then people already watch it, people won't even bother with their reactions. So it won't even pop up to the channel. So that's why I was really annoyed by this leaks and stuff. Why,
Yeah, it's for two pretty big series, Ranma and Dan.
Dan too.
And it puts live reactors in a conundrum, because it's like, okay, do I wait for the official release to come out and then possibly lose views from people that have already watched the leaks, or do I react to the leaks and kind of ruin it for people that want to wait for the official release?
Kawaii.
Or get fucked with copyright.
Exactly.
We don't do that. I got fucked by copyright because of that. So because even though yes it's leaked, but Japanese company will still come after you.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's why that happened to me back in 2021. I remember correctly when I react to an early episode of, I think it was Attack on Titan or something, and I got threatened by a lot of Japanese viewers saying that I should not be watching it. Instead, I was like, well, okay. But
that's when the episode was like leaking or like coming out like 5 or 6 hours before it came out on Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
I remember when that happened.
Yeah. So
that's why I had to change the time for the episode.
So that's why I rather not upload. Even though I gotta lie, I just gotta admit it here. I have the file right now, but I'm just keeping there, and I'm just gonna upload the video on the day of the release. So so I'm just gonna like be a proper uploader and just upload it on the day of the release and not upload a day early and stuff, just to get ahead of the competition. But yeah, let's just say I am a bit annoyed by the leaks. But again, though, we live in a world of internet, and we live in a world where there are hackers that are getting better at hacking things. So
the same thing happened with Crunchyroll. Remember, like there was like a couple episodes of a bunch of shows from Crunchyroll dropping at the beginning of the one season, and I think it was because they had like a screening, and whoever had the files that they were showing at the screening, somehow they must have sent them to someone else or took them, or I don't even know what happened with that. But that was, yeah.
Oh well, it is what it is. We live in a world of hackers now. So
welcome to the digital age.
But yeah, other than that though, another 6 more episodes to go for all the anime this season, and then the final podcast, and then the 4th season, which I'm really excited for.
Yep.
ReZero is back.
Yes, sir.
Despite being already leaked.
Oh wow. So yeah, anything closing statement? Anything?
None for me.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Alrighty then. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to these guys' channels. Follow me on Twitter. And I will see you guys next time.